because I value my past. The memories of yesterday can never be changed, but they give me a reason to live again. There is a reason I am here today, but there is no reason you lost your lives. You were called abusive names, deprived of rights to be humans, slayed because of who you were born. I am lighting a candle as the sign of resilience. I'm paying a tribute. You left a legacy, and I'm a fruit from the love you sowed. Let's say never again, never again to genocide. There should be no war, there should be no genocide. Anyway, let's say never again, never again to genocide. Let's say never again, never again to genocide. I was young, I still needed you, but you were taken away from me too soon. If I had one wish, it would be seeing you again. Today we're strong men and women, even though you are not here to see. We're carrying on to make you feel proud out there, watching down on us. I am lighting a candle as the sign of resilience. I'm paying a tribute. You left a legacy, and I'm a fruit from the love you sowed. Let's say never again, never again to genocide. There should be no war, there should be no genocide. Anyway, let's say never again, never again to genocide. Let's say never again, never again to genocide. I am a witness that if you and I come together as one, we can make sure genocide never happens again. History should be told and passed on to further generations. Let's all stand up and all sing out, never again to genocide. Let's say never again, never again to genocide. There should be no war, there should be no genocide. Anyway, let's say never again, never again to genocide. Let's say never again, never again to genocide. We are here as one nation. We say never, never again. We unite as human race. We say never, never again, never again, never again to genocide. Never again, never again, never again, never again to genocide. Never again, never again, never again.
Good evening, fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to this very important broadcast. A lot is in store for us to discuss about. So a few days ago, I saw from one platform, I think on WhatsApp, a screenshot, because I don't just go or visit any kind of website. A screenshot from Mimi Mefo claiming that the Prime Minister is trying to take some credits, that the activities of those they call separatists in the diaspora has been hampered through Cameroon's diplomatic efforts. And we will be processing that today. If what Cameroon tries to do in foreign countries is banditry or diplomacy. So that will be the spotlight of this evening's conversation and how the world is also evolving. So, you know, every week we come and look at the evolution of things day after day, month after month. Before we even process the highs, the beats, the depths of Dion Ngute's claims, let's move into the newsroom where we have Tabitha, Barrister Mbeseha, Barrister Fru, and Commander Willy. And right after that, we'll commence our conversation. I'm calling on all those who are watching us from all social media platforms to inform somebody, to tell somebody, to tell another person that we are live and ready to go. Stay tuned.
President Donald Trump announces the development of Boeing's next-generation F-47 fighter jet, promising unparalleled capabilities. Here is a breakthrough in America's defense security. But is this the time where the moon stands still for the U.S. amidst global tensions? Welcome to tonight's Flash News. I am Tabitha Ako. Let's begin. In a move to redefine American air superiority, President Donald Trump has announced that Boeing will build the next-generation fighter jet, the F-47, for the U.S. Air Force. Speaking from the Oval Office alongside Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Trump hailed the project as a milestone in military innovation and national security. Let's watch this video.
First sixth-generation fighter jet, number sixth generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it, and it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked the title, and it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. And this has been in the works for a long period of time. After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force is going to be awarding the contract for the next generation air dominance platform to Boeing. As you know, it was highly competed for. There was a lot of competition, generals, and it's been going on for a long time. Very, very tough competition, but this plane is produced numbers that nobody's ever seen before. The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them.
A breakthrough right there. President Trump further revealed that an experimental version of the aircraft has already been flying in secrecy for nearly 5 years. But does this revolution takes a bold and marks a deeper steps of strategic military dominance, or does it raise concerns about transparency in defense spending and oversight? Well, the announcement follows what Trump described as a rigorous and thorough competition among top American aerospace firms, ultimately leading to Boeing securing the contract. The F-47 is set to be the cornerstone of the Next Generation Air Defense Initiative, a program that had been paused under the Biden administration. Trump's declaration signals a shift back toward prioritizing military expansion and technological advancement, a contrast to the previous administration's more cautious approach. Boeing Defense, Space and Security's interim president and CEO Steve Parker emphasized the company's readiness to meet the challenge. We recognize the importance of designing, building, and delivering a sixth-generation fighter capability for the United States Air Force. In preparation for this mission, we made the most significant investment in the history of our defense business, and we are ready to provide the most advanced and innovative NGAD aircraft needed to support the mission. A breakthrough right there. The F-47 will reportedly surpass all existing fighter jets in terms of speed, stealth, and electronic warfare capabilities, with AI-assisted systems and next-generation weaponry. However, some defense analysts warn that the rapid acceleration of military technology comes with risks. The NGAD initiative aims to integrate autonomous drone wingmen developed by Odril Industries and General Atomics alongside human-piloted aircraft. But can the U.S. military effectively manage the ethical and operational challenges posed by AI-driven warfare? America is the world power, They have to be ahead in military capacity. Get this remarkable development done, upscale our security defense system, probably silence China's confidence. Meanwhile, the NGAD was paused in May 2024 in order to ensure the best allocation of resources. Well, in response to Hexet's claim that the Biden administration was prepared to potentially scrap it, the Air Force Public Affairs Secretary clarified during this time the Air Force continued collaborating with industry to aggressively mature critical technologies and accelerate innovation. The explanation, however, has done little to quiet speculation over whether national security priorities are being determined by political shifts rather than long-term strategic assessment. Now, some critics argue that reviving the NGAD initiative under Trump's leadership is more of a political statement than a strategic necessity, while supporters, on the other hand, see it as a reaffirmation of America's commitment to maintaining a global air dominance. Hexet framed the decision as a message to both allies and adversaries. This sends a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and our enemies that we will be able to project power around the globe, unimpeded for generations to come. That's it right there, the American spirit. Meanwhile, U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin described the F-47 as a testament to peace through strength, and thanks President Trump for his leadership. As a defense community and lawmakers analyze the implications of this bold step, this is a necessary step forward for U.S. military dominance, especially with the level of defense tensions around the world. Well, moving over to African scene, we have a report right here. Separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu faces new trial under fourth judge. Is Nigeria's legal system failing or upholding justice? And yet another twist in Nigeria. A treason case with the separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu pleaded not guilty on Friday to 7 counts of terrorism and treason under the jurisdiction of a 4th judge. The trial, which has dragged on for years, has been marred by legal delays, judicial recusals, and 2 denied bail applications. With Judge James Omotosho now presiding, the case is set for hearings on April 29th, May 2nd, and May 6th. But as Nigeria's legal system struggles to handle one of its most political sensitive cases, this remains a prolonged trial strategy to silence a separatist movement. Well, Kanu, a British citizen and leader of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, was initially arrested in 2015 but fled Nigeria while on bail in 2017. His dramatic re-arrest in Kenya in 2021 led to renewed terrorism charges, all of which he has denied. Over the years, his legal battles have seen multiple judges step down, raising concerns about judicial impartiality and political interference. Given the weight of these allegations against him and the history of Nigeria's struggle with secessionist movement, could this case set a dangerous precedent for political trials in the country? Meanwhile, Judge Omotosho's appointment comes after Judge Binta Yako recused herself from the case, following heated exchanges in court. In an attempt to reset the tone of the trial, Kanu's lead defense lawyer, Kanu Agabi, issued an apology to the judge as well as to prosecutor Adegboyega Awomolo and Kanu's previous lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, for past courtroom tensions. Let's watch.
Case is on a new path. Because it is on a new path, we adopt new measures, the right measures. Our client, although angry, knows what is right, and he has done the right thing. The apology is given to the court, to the prosecution, even to the defense team.
All Mazin wants, and all of us want, is justice. Disposition of this trial so that the nation can be at peace.
It has gone further to show that Nnamdi is not. He wants this whole thing to end. And just like he said, a man that was charged when he was 47 years old is 57 years old, and government have not been able to prove their case. So I'm also happy with the disposition of the judge, his commitment to see accelerated decision of this matter.
I want to hear, oh, no victor, no vanquished again. That's why I couldn't appear before you earlier when they said somebody had to apologize on his way. This is all waste of time. It's not an apology matter. If you like, you write hundreds. The judges themselves that you're apologizing to, it's beyond them.
A man that was charged at 47 years old is now 57 years old, and the government has done nothing about it. Well, sad. Kanu's IPOB has long advocated for the secession of southeastern Nigeria, a region predominantly inhabited by the Igbo ethnic group. The Nigerian government officially labeled IPOB a terrorist organization, arguing that its activities threaten national unity. The movement's demands for independence are deeply tied to historical grievances dating back to the Biafran War of 1967 to 1970, in which over 1 million people died after the southeastern region attempted to secede as the Republic of Biafra. Now, with Kanu seeking negotiations with the Nigerian government, the case has evolved beyond the legal proceedings into a broader political dilemma. Will Nigeria's government opt for a diplomatic resolution to avoid further instability, or will Kanu's continued detention further radicalize the movement and reignite separatist tensions? Here is a critical concern that must be looked into. Well, moving forward, still in Africa, Namibia's first female president vows to diversify economy. Can she deliver on job creation? Namibia's newly elected president, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, has pledged to transform the country's economy by boosting agricultural investment and reducing its heavy dependence on natural resources. In her inaugural address on Friday, she emphasized the urgent need to tackle high unemployment, which disproportionately affects the country's youth. With Namibia ranking as one of the most unequal societies in the world despite recent economic growth, can Nandi Ndaitwa's policies bridge the gap between prosperity and opportunity? At 72, Nandi Ndaitwa makes history as Namibia's first female president, taking the reins of power under the ruling SWAPO party, which has governed for over 3 decades. However, SWAPO's dominance has weakened, with public frustration over unemployment, corruption, and inequality causing its support to drop from 87% in 2014 to just 57% in 2014. To rebuild trust, the new president has promised economic diversification, stating that value addition to natural resources will create jobs and ensure that more citizens benefit from the nation's wealth. Let's take a look at this video.
Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia. The time we have all been waiting for has come. I now want to invite His Lordship Peter Shibute, Chief Justice, to administer the oath of office to the President-elect.
Please repeat after me. I, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, do hereby swear that I will strive to the best of my ability to uphold, protect and defend as the supreme law the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, and faithfully to obey, execute, administer the laws of the Republic of Namibia, that I will protect the independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the material and spiritual resources of the Republic of Namibia, and that I will endeavor to the best of my ability to ensure justice for all the inhabitants of the Republic of Namibia. Please raise your right hand and state, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Namibia's inaugural speech right there. In her speech, Nandi Ndaitwa also vowed to uphold ethical governance and fight corruption, a major concern that has contributed to SWAPO's decline in popularity. Her inauguration was attended by 7 incumbent and 9 former African presidents, underscoring the significance of her leadership at a time when Namibia faces economic and political challenges. Despite her strong mandate, opposition parties have contested the election results, citing concerns over voting irregularities. Last month, Namibia's Supreme Court dismissed a challenge against the election, affirming its legitimacy. However, lingering political tensions could test the new administration's ability to implement reforms effectively. With rising global demand for Namibia's oil, gas, and green hydrogen, the country stands at a crossroad. Will President Nandi Ndaitwa succeed in translating economic growth into tangible benefits for ordinary Namibians, or will she struggle under the weight of entrenched inequality and political resistance? Well, she just got into power. We are hoping for a greater change the Namibian nationals truly deserves. Today, we have breaking news from the home front. But right before we get to the report and details, let's go on a short break. Bringing to your screen tonight, Archbishop Nkea urges La Republic du Cameroon government to engage in direct talks with Ambazonian government as a way to ending the 9 years war in Ambazonia. Archbishop Nkea's call for direct talks between the La Republic du Cameroon government and the Ambazonian government is a crucial step towards ending the 9-year war in Ambazonia, especially with his inconsistency on sticking with the truth. This war has resulted in devastating losses with estimate 60,000 deaths as at 2024 and 5,000 refugees, altogether with 2 million internally displaced persons. Well, the Ambazonian government, led by President Samuel Sarko, has been seeking recognition and independence since 2017. The conflict's root cause lies in the failed decolonization process of the British Southern Cameroons, which was annexed by Cameroon in 1961. So now, the Archbishop's urging for direct talks is a welcome development, as it acknowledges the need for a negotiated settlement to address the underlying issues driving the conflict. But then, the Ambazonian government has expressed its willingness to engage in talks, with the Swiss-led talks being the currently approved platform for negotiations. But the question is Bishop Nkea sincere with this call? A negotiated settlement can only be achieved through direct talks between the parties involved. The international community, including organizations like the UN, AU, and EU, must support these efforts to bring peace to Ambazonia. Ambazonia have been embroiled in a war since 2016, resulting in over 60,000 deaths, as earlier stated, with quite a number of displaced persons and widespread destruction of poverty. Instead of going in for meaningful dialogue, the La Republic du Cameroon colonial government has opted for a military option to crush the aggrieved Ambazonians. According to Archbishop Andrew Nkea Funya of the Bamenda Archdiocese, the La Republic du Cameroon's government's failure to engage in direct talks with Ambazonian leaders has hindered progress. The Archbishop emphasized that the Ambazonian State Army believes the La Republic du Cameroon's government is insincere in its commitment to resolving the crisis, as they see little implementation of declared intentions. Well, the church, which has been relatively passive until now, can facilitate dialogue but cannot make pledges on behalf of the state. Archbishop Nkea urged the La Republic du Cameroon government to recognize the need for direct engagement with Ambazonian leaders, warning that the continued use of force will not resolve the conflict. Meanwhile, La Republic du Cameroon's Prime Minister, Joseph Dion Ngute, highlighted the colonial government's achievements in implementing the major national dialogue resolutions, including decentralization and disarmament efforts. However, experts caution that if the root causes of the conflict, such as injustice and inequality, are not addressed, the country may experience negative peace, setting the stage for future confrontations. Well, with me on the show tonight is our commentators and amazing guest, Barrister Fru, Barrister Team Mbeseha, and Commander Willy. It's always been an amazing time hosting you on the show, and more awesome getting your collective perspectives on these issues. But right here today is a new development with Archbishop Nkea's call for a bilateral diplomacy between Ambazonia and the La Republic du Cameroon's government. But then, do you think his call would be heard? For a war that has lasted well over 9 years, with La Republic du Cameroon being unperturbed. Take a look at the figures of genocide and casualties. Not only thousands being dead, thousands are already being displaced. Barrister Fru, let me get your thoughts.
Tabitha, thank you very much for inviting us once more. That call from Archbishop Nkea is very surprising for me. I'm shocked by his call. Where has he been in the last 8 years? Where has he been? I used to admire him when he was Bishop of Mamfe. But when he became Archbishop of Bamenda, he became a La Republic agent. I don't know whether a call for negotiations coming from Bishop Nkea is an indication of the willingness of La Republic de Cameroon to meet us on the negotiating table. I doubt. I don't even know. That said, the message to Archbishop Nkea, Andrew Nkea, is that we are ready. The Ambazonian army, along with the Ambazonian state government, are ready to negotiate with La Republic de Cameroon. And before a neutral and third-party mediator, nothing short of that. We will not, I repeat myself, we will not negotiate with La Republique du Cameroon directly. Thank you.
Very much for that striking announcement and call. We are still on the report. Barrister Mbeseha, do you think his call, Archbishop's call, is sincere, just as Barrister Fru has stated? Let me get your perspectives on that.
Well, I cannot judge sincere or not. But what we all know is that the call is public. It's a public call. So sincerity is no longer the issue. The issue is that it's called this thing public. And the most important thing is for us to know that until this call, not even until this call, from the beginning of this crisis, Andrew, the Archbishop, left as an agent of the Republic to sell the agenda to Ambazonians. And so he has stood out there for them. He has done everything they wanted him to do. And he now acknowledges that he fails. Therefore, to me, it's a very positive thing. Whether they take it, whether they take it or not, is not a problem. The responsibility of the bishop is to tell the truth as it is, not the truth as they want it to be. Now, the bishop must have realized that his call, his earlier stance on this thing might have been completely honest. He probably did not understand our problem. He thought it was like going to US and giving money to somebody to come and sit down and talk. He believed that some of his people, that the problem was about digging a road from one point A to the other, was pacifying individuals and giving them out things. No, he got it wrong. And so now he realized he has tried over what Yaoundé wanted him to do. They invited him into the Grand National Dialogue in 2019. They thought that he was an Anglophone and they called him. But he went there as a representative of the church and mistakenly took the sides with the government. When someone told him, call it chief, that the Northwest and Southwest could not live together. And he believed it. And so you must have realized the struggle is not about Northwest and Southwest living together. That's not the issue. It's not the issue. And then what is the issue about? He has realized, I hope, if he has not, let them understand this. The struggle that we won for the past 8 years, not about development. And Funky was with him, complaining that they didn't do the road to acquire. It is not about roads to acquire. It is not about roads to Frunkankang or any part of Ambazonia. It is about the reinstitution of our institutions that were illegally abolished. It is institutional thing. When they realizes this, can they then understand what it is all about? They can kill us as they have done. The war is not ending. Which root causes are so well known. They will address them at the conference table. But before that, everybody knows. If they didn't know, let people who follow us know that the root causes of this problem, which the most come to the table, is where are the Southern Cameroon institutions that in 1961? What do I mean by institutions? Where is the Southern Cameroon government headed by a premier? Where is the Southern Cameroon House of Assembly? Where is the Southern Cameroon Justice Department? And so on. Those are state institutions. Until they are established, until they realize that abolishing them illegally was completely wrong. Shall they ever agree to settle this? The Archbishop can go anywhere and talk anything. But the Archbishop has a big role. As a bishop, like other religious leaders, pastors, they have a moral obligation to tell the truth. The Archbishop must have realized by now that in prayers don't have to, and he should have realized by 2019 when he told, when he said publicly, Archbishop Nkea of Douala, that the presidency was talking to him because he came from the side, as they call it. He probably had realized that if the Church of Cameroon, the National Church of Cameroon, headed by Nkea, had taken up this course, it is a moral obligation, maybe to do better progress. But he didn't realize that. In 2019, when he said, well, Yaoundé is talking to me, he forgot what the promise is for imitations. But today, if he's made a return, I want to say congratulations. Yaoundé, like in other initiatives they've sent, must have realized by now that all what they've been doing for the past 7 minutes, really. And the Bishop Riley put it, go negotiate with the Ambazonians, with the different groups, and agree to a solution, not backdoor business. I think he's right. We can only congratulate him for being to do it. It is better late than never. So he's doing the right thing. We hope his employers, the people for whom he has been working for all the past 7 years, will realize that they took a different course. Over to you.
Thank you, Barrister Mbeseha. In your words, there has to be a realization. And yes, it's better late than what? It's better we have it now than it's late. Well, moving over to Commander Willy, I have a question right here. The stakes have never been more higher. Every day we get reports of high levels of exploitation, oppression, and even catastrophes over Ambazonian civilians at the home front. It is a dire time for the people. What's your stance? What's the hope of the Ambazonian people at this critical time?
Well, since I'm talking to my people, I say Sheikh no day to all Ambazonia State Army. Sheikh no day. I agree with all Asawana for the 13th county at 61 LGA. At this critical moment, I will speak in Pidgin English because I'm talking to my people. Ambazonia State Army, when I place the IU, those who are there with us, when I hold the ground strong. At this moment, me man no blink. We don't really reach the finish line. Sheikh in no day. As a killer, they're taking Zola for all the 13 counties, it's one LGA. Would they push and they go forward? Maybe I no believe on what way Bishop Nkea can talk. Bishop Nkea na devil advocate. Na devil advocate for war for the international scene. Bishop Nkea na war prostitute. Now war prostitute. When the war be start, now he can seize gun for Ambazonia State Army and the Ngea for la Republic. Bishop Nkea na agent for la Republic. Now he seize all their guns and Ngea for la Republic. He keep them. He make our people that keep their guard low. They kill a lot of Ambazonians. Some that can't go to the center. Now he convince fighters to go to the center. They kill some of them. Some of them they rape some of them. They beat some of them, and they use some of them. Many Ambazonians they suffer today now because of people like Nkea. Where God don't send them, they carry Bibi Akabakam, she know the fufu people them. May man no fall for this chuki where the man they can't fool we. Bishop Nkea, he know the truth. When the time comes for the truth, what he may make it turn it back again. They give him a take he can go. Bishop Nkea na agent for la Republic, na military person, because it is six gun for Ambazonia State Army and Ngea for la Republic. Make it can give all the guns and where you get them for your hand. Maybe we fight, we liberate ourselves. We don't need it. Over to you. We don't need it. We go fight until heaven come. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Commander Willy, for that powerful reaction. Well, we still have another report on the line, and moving over to the next report on defense briefing. Ambazonia State Army thwart Colonial invasion in Mile 5, Nkea. In a daring display of bravery, the Ambazonian State Army successfully repelled an incursion by La Republique du Cameroon forces in Mile 5, Nkea. This bold defense is a proof to their unwavering commitment of the Ambazonian State Army to protect Ambazonian lives and sovereignty. Eyewitnesses report that the La Republique du Cameroon's forces, notorious for their human rights abuses, attempted to infiltrate the area but were met with fierce resistance from the Ambazonian State Army. Let's see this video.
I see yeah, man. I don't sleep. I didn't. You did not so. Can't see something. I see all. You sleep for them. Give me a phone. Give me. Are they done? I don't see. I'm happy to. Yes. I should be saying the boy now. Can't forget him. Nothing what is wrong.
A great act of bravery right there. The self-defense forces, composed of volunteers from local communities, have been instrumental in safeguarding Ambazonia territory against colonial aggression, just like we've seen on the screen. Details of the exchange are still emerging, with no confirmed report of casualties at this time. However, sources indicate that the Ambazonian State Army successfully defended their position, forcing the La République du Cameroon's forces to retreat. This incident helps to highlight the critical role of the Ambazonian State Army in defending Ambazonian communities against colonial invasion. As the war in Ambazonia enters its 9th year, the Ambazonian State Army remains a vital force in resisting La République du Cameroon's attempts to maintain its legitimate control over the region. The Ambazonian State Army bravery and determination serves as a source of hope for Ambazonians who continue to suffer under colonial rule. Their unwavering commitment to freedom and self-determination inspires a nation, and their sacrifices will not be forgotten. President Tako has also promised that. Meanwhile, as the UN remains largely silent on the Ambazonian War of Independence, the Ambazonian State Army stands as a testament to the power of grassroots resistance against colonial oppression. Their struggle is a reminder that freedom is a fundamental human right and that Ambazonians will no longer be silenced or oppressed. Commander Willy, it's been a fierce season for Ambazonian State Army. Showcasing their bravery has been heartwarming to the Ambazonian people. But then, the enemies are also strategizing. And now, the Ambazonian State Army needs to come up with more tactics to keep winning over their enemies. Commander Willy, let me get your thoughts on this. Are the ASA fully equipped for what lies ahead? It's been a victory period protecting civilians at the home front. What best strategy do you recommend going forward?
Yes, thanks a lot. For this difficult moment, we will face the enemy for home front. Make I give a brief rundown from January till now to make you understand how Ambazonian State Army is. For January, Cameroon Army, they be lost 19 service members. 19. For February, they lost 16. And as from today, March, they lost 33. Altogether, they lost 68 servicemen for inside Ambazonia. For January, they lost 4 armor cars. February, they lost 7 armor cars. And for March, they lost 11 armor cars. Total 22 armor cars with the loss. And then coming up, they wounded them. For January, they get 6 people they be wounded. February 3, and for this March, they get 8 will be wounded. Total 17 will they be wounded. As Ambazonian State Army, they fight the war, they go. We will not get any challenge. The challenge they want to get them now among us, the people the way they call themselves say senators and those where they stay within us. Some of them francophones, where they give intelligence for La République. If you look at the street as they divide from Nkea and other areas from Ambazonia, if you see the street, it will be empty. But when you get intelligence of the civilian population, when they deal with us 100%, why the civilian population they cooperate with La République? Because they force them for gunpoint, for them for confess or talk to it, they know see them. Sometimes they go see you, they catch you, they say be Amba, you say no. They go say, oh, point me Amba. So any person they see them, they go just catch them, forget money and forget ransom. But moving forward, as President talk, we'll not get the time for fight or the day. We'll fight Monday through Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The resistance for that at 24/7. Ambassador not get the calendar, say today we'll go fight, tomorrow we'll go leave them. Anytime we see Cameroon Army, for air, for land, or for water, we will shoot them. We will follow them and we will hunt them for how the day. As you see them for ground, the ground is hot for their food. They don't canal, they pursue them on top of water. They don't run out of money. Some they don't be deserted. They don't run out of options. I make a tell now another thing with day. Those Ambazonia Anglophone, the way they start Francophone army, Cameroon government, they already killed them already, they go. Yesterday, on Wednesday, they killed a lieutenant colonel, Mr. Mba. Yes, they killed a lieutenant colonel, and they killed an adjutant. They killed an adjutant for Yaoundé Day, way in charge of Samalima Highway. And then Mr. Afu Julius, where they kill him. So they neutralize the Ambazonia, they inside the military for La Republique slowly, and slowly. And those that they beat inside La Republique, where they work for La Republique, they did neutralize them. Some of them no get side for go, and as such, if they no desert or help for shoot La Republique them, therefore we will take care for the business. They in no pass we thing for do, but with the back community make the continue for support their population, because the devil come for kill, for destroy, and for rape. Now exactly what Cameroon government do. They see you motorcycle, they take your motorcycle. They see you work with your man, they call you come, they tell your man make the dance, they sing the dance for poto poto. You the woman, they rape you. Many cases are for ground when I go see them as we go forward. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Commander Willy. So in your words, on the land, in the sea, we are going right after our enemies. But then, what do you have to say with President Sako, who has categorically promised that their sacrifices will not be forgotten? And then when we get to experience this level of bravery by the Ambazonian State Army in some counties like Buyu, and well, Buyu seems to be like the place of no return. They open gunfire, confiscate their weapons, and let's go over with this. But then, here's the concern. Buyu seems to be at the center of protecting the Ambazonian civilians and territory. How about other counties?
When it comes for other counties, make you not forget, they fight not only for Buyu. They fight not only for Buyu. If you go inside Buyu, you not go only find all the beginning of Buyu they fight. This is a voluntary war. You get fight already with the mobilizing from different locations and for different LGA for train. Some of them for Buyu for training. When they don't train, they carry that skill back, go for other region, then they execute that. Why they fight it for Buyu to a certain level, certain interests it for the way the enemy the can't get them, and we know go they get them. So certain areas them video no they come out for outside for many reasons, because the enemy they use the video them for track the people the way they carry out the operation and for kill them. So those areas and communities the way they get the privilege for send out the video, they send them. Moving forward, as you will see in the days ahead, you will see more attack for ground. You will see how most of the ASA them where they don't be for reserve mode. Reserve mode now ASA will not the fight. Then they say make a back off a little bit for one reason or other. Then they come back for the field for fight. So in the day side you will see more fighting for ground as it still go. Don't forget, not now all over for Buyu, all other area they were army they die. When I see them for here because they knock them ammo car. Sometimes we are civilian population they kill them too as well. When they see them for road, they trap for some place, they poison them. When they see them on motorcycle, they kill them too, throw for grass, kill them. So you will see most Cameroon army they send in Ambazonia, they don't go back for La Republique. Now you will see how Cameroon army they lie. It is just so some of the army them they don't desert, they go fight for Russia. That one a fat lie pom where they can't get for civilian population. Say Cameroon army they run go for Russia. No, they don't die for Ambazonia. Cameroon government no one give accountability and closure for their family, because those colonials them and general them for La Republique, they take those salary for those army the way they don't die inside Ambazonia, they chop up. They say the army they don't run go fight for Russia. Cameroon is a country. If the army get for go for Russia, they go carry them put up see Malay airport, they go match them, they give them Russian bash. Say they get 50 contingent where they want to go for Russia for go fight. They will give them guard of honor before they go. So no one Cameroon army if you run by itself say, oh, they go Russia, it deserve go for Russia, go fight. You know the works for no country. So Cameroon army no say it don't lost inside Ambazonia 100%. They bribe the chiefs, it no work. They bribe the Nkea them, it no work. They bribe the civilian population, it no work. Now they are all of the day na deception. Deception. Barrister Fru, they know more about that for the law department. They will know how to explain how Cameroon they deceive where people them. And for the war, we don't win them already. Over to you. I will see the win.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commander Willy. All right, Barrister Fru, the Ambazonian State Army constantly keep making the Ambazonian people proud. And then what do you think is at stake with this level of sheer bravery?
Thank you very much again, Tabitha. I want to say that I am very delighted this morning to have heard the fight between the Ambazonia State Army and the Cameroon Army in my fine Nkea, in the city where I come from, Bamenda. La République de Cameroon forces have, with their proxies, when I talk of their proxies, I'm talking about the ADF, the Tanganji boys, bandits, and some soldiers that have been going around tantalizing people looking for food. They took Bamenda hostage, and they have been tantalizing the civilian population in Bamenda. It is now becoming clearer that La République du Cameroon is going to face a stiff resistance from Bamenda, because that fight and Nkea, from your report, it forced them to retreat, because the firepower coming from the Ambazonia State Army was unbearable for them today. So they have retreated. Bamenda is being encircled, Bamenda is being protected by the Ambazonia State Army from other counties, and Mbeseha is benefiting from the cooperation between the various counties. Talking about cooperation, Tabitha, I also listened to an audio this morning from General Nsoh, which got me very, very concerned. According to him, the civilian population that comes from Bamenda, that transporters going to Bui, carrying goods from Bamenda to go and sell in Bui and service the Bui people, are being tantalized by the Ambazonia State Army in Gokutunja, and he was asking them to change their method of doing business. I want to make it clear that the Ambazonia State Army is the army for the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, all the 13 counties. You cannot take upon yourself to only defend your own county and also tantalize or torture civilian populations coming through your own county to go to another county. That is uncalled for. That is a crime. You don't do that. You cannot do that to the civilian population. I don't know whether General Nsoh is correct, but I'm just saying that all the Ambazonia State Army should regard themselves as one, and the population should be treated as one, and the population deserves protection from every Ambazonia State Armed Force, wherever you are. Do not, I repeat, do not tantalize the population of another county just because they are not from your county. Look, there has been a historical cooperation between Gokutunja Armed Forces of Ambazonia and the Bui Armed Forces of Ambazonia. That cooperation should continue and should be strengthened so that we will have a smooth coordination between the counties. Mbeseha is now benefiting from the sweet cooperation of other counties to be able to stand La République forces in my fine Nkea, like you hear this morning. The forces that fought in my fine Nkea, from my investigation, are not only the force, our forces, ASA in Bamenda and Tuba and other LGAs, but it's also the Ambazonia State Army from other counties. They are now determined to protect Bamenda. Therefore, we call on all of them to work in synergy and to protect the population of all the counties wherever they are, because our population is the population from Victoria to Nkea. They deserve the protection of the ASA everywhere that they are. That is my take, Tabitha. This morning, I want to thank Commander Willy for the very, very important military statistics he has just given there. We should be proud that from January to now, the Ambazonian State Army has been able to neutralize La Republic of Cameroon. I guess now it is down on me why Andrew Nkea, their very popular agent, is calling for negotiations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Fru. Over to Barrister Mbeseha. Well, this is a case of cooperation. This is a case of cooperation. Yeah. Could you lend your voice to that? Let's get your perspectives on these issues.
Yes, for allowing me this opportunity. I must congratulate Commander Willy for the report. You see, this is war. And if the enemy has lost 68 of its active people, active soldiers, in the past 2 months, and lost 22 armored cars, it is telling the war is not going the way they thought it would. 68 people, active soldiers. Their soldiers are not like Ambazonian soldiers. They put a lot of fortune to train one of them. They spend a lot of money to buy armored cars. The war is financially not so to them. But you can see, looking back at their own cities, the war of this week, if you watch Equinox and so on, their cities, most particularly Yaoundé, even the deaths in the street. Why? They have no money. Not me saying it. The Prime Minister had to come in a whole high-level meeting in the Prime Minister's office, asking them to pay the bills of the garbage collection company. So this war is not sustainable for them. But talking about the fighting, I've always said, a war as such, we're not going to war by winning in every county, winning Manfi, Menchum, no, that's not how wars are fought. This war might well end on one spot. Which spot I will call the Waterloo of Cameroon. Once they get to Waterloo, if you know what Waterloo is, you know that in 18-something, Napoleon had to capture the whole of Europe. Had a campaign. Everybody knows somebody called Napoleon Bonaparte. Capturing every town in Europe, taking countries. They came to Waterloo, somewhere in Belgium. Lost everything that he had done. And he packed and left. That was the end of the campaign led by Napoleon Bonaparte. And so what is going on now? If these 68 people, active soldiers, died in one village, in one county, that's still as good as everything else. They're not going to come back and go to the next village and continue the fight. The armor brought down in one county or in one LGA or even in one village. Those cars they're not going to come back to life to go and fight somewhere else. If they were Manfi, they're not going to come back and go to fight in Kumba or go fight in the dock. And so our people have done the right. These figures show that one day is on his knees. And if you can add this to just what we discussed earlier with the agents, the emissary, the Archbishop Andrew, telling them publicly that, look, this thing is not worth it. Own principle, that's a big story. As to what Master Nsoh says, the fighters are just human beings. I agree, that's common with human beings. I'm just happy that Commissioner Willy is there listening to them. They will iron out those, and then the war will be on track. Good enough they made the point, good enough the people have listened to them. The people who are supposed to take action are listening to them. They will take action. To disagree is human. To find solution is strategy. And so, thank them for doing what they are doing. Thank them for airing their differences to us. Thank them down this people. The time is coming closer and closer when the negotiation might not even be necessary. If they will simply pack and go, pull their guns away, take the administration away, and that will be the end of it. We don't need to negotiate anything after that. So this is done on them. This is 2025. It has shattered all thought. They talked about return to normalcy. They talked about rebuilding Ambazonia, and they thought everything was over. No, it's not over. Our people are up to the task. Fight, fight, fight where you are. Cooperate when it is necessary. Over to you. Over to you.
Much, Barrister Mbeseha. So much for tonight. Thank you, Barrister Fru, for your thoughts, your perspectives, your reactions on these issues. Thank you, Commander Willy, for that extensive statistics. I believe Ambazonian people are informed. And then even as these issues keep coming up, we believe that necessary decisions need to be made. And in the coming days, we hope that we get to receive greater international interventions. Thank you once again for tonight. Thank you for joining us on the show tonight on Flash News. Still on the show, we'll be moving right over to Studio 2 with our news director, Mr. Tarh.
Welcome back to Studio One. Tabitha, thank you for those briefings there and the commentaries we've had. I hope you're indicating to the panelists to join us here in Studio One so we can enhance our reports this evening. There's a lot for us to talk about. And interestingly, there's somewhere I'd like to begin my conversation this evening. You've just heard from Commander Willy there. It is very evident, it's very clear what is happening on the ground. You all heard what is happening. According to the statistics that we have these reports because we are reporting them like every single day. So we know what is happening on the ground. The numbers could be at the minimum based on what we're able to get because communication is kind of challenging. Some have simply just disappeared. Those who have been neutralized is about 60 just for other 2 months. But what about those who have surrendered? So Cameroon is losing the war badly. Shamelessly, the Cameroon is not willing to take responsibility. The government is not willing to speak the truth to their people. One would actually expect that when you lose a single army on a war front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 20 armies within 2 weeks, that's along the Buingo-Ketunja axis, within only 2 weeks. One would expect that the head of government, I know his portfolio has no value in that country, it will be expected that a prime minister of a nation that has some respect for his military would come to address the situation, to console, and even give some honor to the fighters who have been out there fighting on behalf of their country. The question we're asking is, the Ambazonia State Army is fighting to restore its sovereignty, its territorial integrity, to restore its rights that have been stolen. What is the Cameroonian military fighting for? And those children who are going out there to fight, that's an imperative question to ask. So a few days ago, like I mentioned earlier on, I saw a screenshot by Mimi Mefo where the Colonial Prime Minister Dion Ngute, according to the reports like you can see on my screen, is saying that the government has claimed that the judicial leaders are brought, or is claiming that the judicial proceedings against Ambazonian separatist leaders abroad are the product of its diplomatic efforts. Now, according to Mbeseha, there was no specifics to that. There's no specific case. But I may just want to guess, is he talking about what is happening in Norway? If he's saying what is happening in Norway has been influenced by the Cameroonian government, then even if the Cameroonian government played an effort, a prime minister head of government should not make a statement like that publicly, because that alone reduces the legal credence of the case. You heard what the president said in his speech, that he believes that it is not politically motivated. It's based on crimes committed against humanity. Now, perhaps John Ngute, not knowing how to edify in a public whose government has failed them in everything, in economy, in strategy, in diplomacy, and even in the war, not knowing what to tell the Bulus whose children are dying every single day in Ambazonia, thought that was something that was good for propaganda. But that's a blunder. What he's saying is that the case has no value because politically motivated is wrong. But let's assume that the case in Norway, for instance, is politically motivated. It only gives more advantages to the accused. In the face of law, it gives advantages to the accused. But we have processed that, and we will not take John Ngute's word for it. Like every government official in the Cameroon lies every single day. We can't take what John Ngute says. Let us look at other aspects once acclaimed or personal acclaim or personally acclaiming themselves for diplomacy or diplomatic successes. I would like to take it right far back to 2018. When the Cameroonian government employed the services of criminal actors in Nigeria, employed road cutters, some of them calling themselves the DSS, because until now that we speak, the Nigerian government has not officially made any statement that they collaborated in the kidnapping of the leaders of the Southern Cameroons at Nera Hotel. So, to better explain it, the Cameroonian government went into Nigeria. You know, in Nigeria with money, anything is possible. And fraudulently paid the services of some criminal elements. Probably some of them were Nigerian military officials. Some of them were thieves on the street. You know, you have a lot of people in Nigeria holding guns. And went into a hotel where Ambazonian leaders were having a deliberation meeting and kidnapped them. It was not an arrest because it was not a legal process. There was no legal procedure that was respected. And by some gangster method, because there's no treaty of extradition between the two countries, they criminally abducted them and forcefully deported them into Yaoundé. Is that diplomacy or banditry? That's banditry. Le banditisme. Ça, c'est le banditisme pour tous ceux qui me regardent à Yaoundé. That's banditry. That's not diplomacy. I like a lot of people to understand that when the Southern Cameroonian leaders, yes, 2 decades ago, or more than 2 decades ago, took Nigeria in the court in Banjul and they were winning the case, this same Dion Ngute was sent by the government to come and make false claims. And instead of them coming to address the issues that were tabled by Professor Ayin, Pa Augustine Dangam, and all the college of the SCNC leaders that mounted that case, Dion Ngute came there and told the world that the Saudi Cameroonian leaders are not united. Go and read the documents for yourselves. So you see, it's a recycling of the same strategy. It's a recycling of the same strategy. Moving to the United States. Are we saying that anything that has happened in the United States has to do with Cameroon diplomacy? We're going to process that diplomacy this evening. And I want to give this explanation to lay the foundation, because I know the lawyers right now, Barrister Mbeseha, Barrister Fru, they are boiling to just make a contribution. So I want to lay a very solid foundation. Now in 2018, at the peak of him as spokesman of Ambazonia, spokesperson for Ambazonia, Chris Arnold was indicted, not should I say indicted, but was taken to court by Nkea. We know the failed lawyer. Nkea took him to court. Perhaps that's Cameroon's diplomacy. Was the success? Is Chris Arnold in prison? No. He was kicked out of court because there was no credence to it. So that's what Cameroon is telling you, that is diplomacy. Perhaps a few months later, they fight a case against Tapang Ivor Tanku, who won them in court. So since then, Cameroon is employing their proxies. The son of the Bulu woman, Nkea, whom we think is a fraud, to try to manipulate certain individuals within the struggle. I know, I kind of have an idea of how much Dion Ngute is willing to give any Ambazonian face that is willing to sabotage. I know what was offered to some of the leaders to even permit them to go to Canada. They were lodged in five-star hotels. They were motivated financially. That's how much Dion Ngute is willing to go. So I want you watching me right now to understand Cameroon's diplomacy, what Dion Ngute is talking about diplomacy. In as much as we know right now, the Cameroonian government is under heat, especially from the Trump's administration. Their reports are not complying with the State Department. Cameroon has always thwarted human rights reports, and American representatives on the ground know very well. They are expecting that after Cameroon would have benefited from US aid or US donations or military donations or whatever, they are expecting the least from Cameroon would be for the Cameroonian government to give accurate reports. When the United States does their investigations on the ground and they examine the reports that are coming in, and Cameroon is telling them that there is normalcy, they feel there's an issue. I'm sure some of you would have seen the fact that Cameroon happens to be among the countries that the Trump's administration has given a maximum of 60 days for them to comply, or they will be banned. Many different Ambazonians have different perspectives about that. But again, you could use that to rate Cameroon's diplomacy as purported by Dion Ngute. So much is happening. When Eric Tato was arrested because of probably his business irregularities, Nkea rushed to CRTV to claim that he was involved, and even filed petitions to try to politicize a case that has nothing to do with politics. We are told, intelligence has it, that Nkea tries to get even within the government of Ambazonia, from counties to counties, getting information and getting to look for who he can take to court. Why is he doing that even when he knows that there is not a single case that he can win against Ambazonian leadership in America? It's fraud. I can only imagine how much Nkea would have taken from the office of Dion Ngute alone and from the Cameroon government. So when he goes to CRTV That's another fake media platform, though it has existed for over 4 decades or more, but it's just the worst television broadcasting corporation that you can ever think of in modern day. He goes there and claims responsibility for things that he knows nothing about. And by the time he's leaving Yaoundé, because he's a failed lawyer in America, we've personally done our background checks. He's not having any serious case. He can't make any money in America. So to fulfill his father's legacy, he would have to go back to Cameroon to fraudulently extort money from poor taxpayers in Cameroon, claiming that he's doing diplomacy. The last one he did, you now have Tapang Ivor has responded. So that's the diplomacy Dion Ngute is claiming that the Cameroonian government is playing in the diaspora. So I'm just thinking the cost of this diplomacy is making Salah, whose sister has also been apprehended for fraud in America, the sister and the husband, for over $2 million fraud, and they are currently in jail. It just baffles me how much he would have taken from the Cameroon government. Lots of money. Vous savez comment ça se passe à Yaoundé. C'est-à-dire, il faut seulement monter des dossiers. Et voilà, on touche. So you just need to say anything, mount some documents, claim that you're mounting pressure. In fact, let me tell you, Nsala is not mounting any pressure to the leaders in the United States of America particularly. He doesn't have the, let me use a word that you understand here only. He does not have the legal gabarit. The substance. Nsala is not a lawyer in America that can be feared by Ambazonian leaders. So, Dion Ngute, I'm calling on those who are watching, you Cameroonians, those who want to be Cameroonians, to ask your prime minister to explain to you what he's talking about diplomacy, because Cameroon is failing. They are losing foreign aids. In fact, now that Trump is not even willing for the US aid no more, it's difficult. Cameroon is not making new friends. Maybe signing the military alliance with Russia is part of some of their diplomacy, but we know the fate of that. Maybe that's what he's calling. So this whole charade of diplomatic achievement is a cover-up for the shame of a war that Cameroon is losing very bigly. So Dion Ngute, short of words, doesn't even know what to tell the people that within 2 weeks, 20 soldiers, well-trained in Israel and in the United States of America, innocent guys who are fighting a war and they don't even know why they are fighting, have been neutralized by the Ambazonian State Army. So Dion Ngute wants to tell the people in the Cameroons that they are doing some diplomacy, so that for those who have chosen not to read anything, you think, oh, tu sais, l'État est en charge. Empty noise. Right now, I'm sure all the panelists are connected in Studio One. It was a great talk with them, with Tabitha there. I'm going to be bringing Barrister Fru and Barrister Mbeseha and Commander Willy, so we can process these things very closely before we get into the last aspect of it, that will be talking a little bit closely with defense and the US, the technicalities involved in the US ban, travel ban. Who is to be affected? What are the advantages and disadvantages? And how would it profit the state of Ambazonia during this time of war? Barrister Fru, Barrister Mbeseha, Commander Willy, you are welcome to this important broadcast this evening.
Thank you very much, Paddy. Thank you very much, Paddy.
Barrister Mbeseha, welcome. I miss you for, I think it's been 2 weeks. I've not had you, Barrister Mbeseha.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome back. So Cameroon, normally, like I said, a nation should be humble to take responsibility. If you send soldiers to a war front and they are neutralized, it's expected that you come and at least apologize to the parents and encourage those who are still fighting. So with the press sometime last week or early this week, Dion Ngute was talking about diplomacy, and our interest is that he says that based on their diplomatic endeavors, they're actually interfering separatists in the diaspora. Yes, so I want to begin with you, Barrister Fru.
Paddy, I will answer that question in 3 stages. The first one will be with Nigeria, the second will be in Norway, and the third in the United States. Let me start with Nigeria. Paddy, on the 5th of January 2018, Atanganji and Emmanuel, what is his name again? The communication minister, Emmanuel Sadi, carry bags and bags and bags of dollars, briefcases full of dollars, landed in Nigeria, went and met the Nigerian general in charge of DSS, and they planned the kidnap of our people. That's what you could refer to as banditry. The DSS general took their money, planned the job, and before Atanganji and Rene Sadi got to Nigeria, they had made the groundwork with Atta Milan. Atta Milan deceived our former president Ayuk Tabe that the United Nations will be coming to visit or to talk to us in Nigeria. We have to go back to Nigeria, and there will be a meeting in Naira Hotel on so and so day. The UN representative will be there, La Republic will be there, and we will be there, and we will negotiate this matter. Ayuk Tabe abandoned the job he was doing in Washington, raising funds for this struggle, and he was supposed to go to New York and raise another big chunk of money, but he didn't go to New York. He flew back to Nigeria and got my poor country girl Malova B to prepare a meeting with an agenda. I don't know what the agenda was all about, and the ground was prepared for Atanganji and Rene Emmanuel Sadi to arrive with bags of dollars to pay this general who organized a squad to go to Naira Hotel on the day that meeting was supposed to take place. Atta Milan has carefully claimed that he missed his flight so that he can miss whatever was going on there. They went there and collected our leaders and kidnapped them and put them in the plane. 20 days after, 20 days, that was on the 25th or 26th of January, and flew them to Yaoundé. That is banditry organized by 2 governments, Nigeria and Cameroon. Before I continue, let me give you this so-called Prime Minister Dion Ngute, his background. This is a man who has never practiced law in his whole life. He went to Yaoundé, got a law degree, went to England and did a master's and a PhD. He has never practiced law. He doesn't know the intricacies of the application of the law as to the facts. He will sit in his office and cast aspersions on things that he doesn't even know anything about. Dion Ngute is not a lawyer. I don't know whether he's an administrator, but he's a PM of La République du Cameroon. He lost the case in Banjul. He lost the case in Nigeria, the first case in Nigeria. He went there and made blah, 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 blah. No. He did not take any lawyer. He took a delegation without any lawyers. I went there and he was told that the southern Cameroons, Anglophones are a people of the southern Cameroons. They have a right to self-determination. He begged and begged and they gave him 6 months to comply, which he did not comply. This is a man who, I don't know who he represents in the Biya government. Maybe he represents Mr. Biya, that's it. He has his village, his house is growing in the bush. The soldiers that were sent there, the Ambazonia State Army has taken them out and the place is now abandoned and is in the bush. And he sits in Yaoundé with a gray hair, getting old like me here, and talking rubbish about diplomacy. He knows nothing about diplomacy, which is the diplomacy that has done something against the Ambazonian separatist movement, as he claims. Ayabacho is not a leader of the Ambazonian separatist movement. Ayabacho is the leader of a proxy group, a group of bandits that were put together for the benefit of La République du Cameroon, and they are sponsored by La République du Cameroon, both with money and arms. Maybe he is doing that to destroy Ayabacho, so that Ayabacho should not get to those of them who are involved in the crime that Ayabacho is being accused of. That is the only logical conclusion. Otherwise, what interest has he now to talk about diplomacy? The message he's giving is that they were politically involved in the arrest of Ayabacho. I'm not talking about Norway. And if they were, then Ayabacho cannot be prosecuted politically. Like the president said, he can only be prosecuted against crime that he has committed in the European Union, particularly in Norway. And that his trial should not be politicized in any shape or form. So for Dion Ngute, they are now politicizing the case of Ayabacho, so that Ayabacho should be released, so that he should come back and continue to help them neutralize the Southern Cameroons and Ambazonia. And that is the only logical conclusion anybody, any lawyer or any sound individual, sound intellectual would draw from his statement. Coming to the United States is the use of a foreign state agent operating in the United States, a diplomatic mission. Is Salai serving diplomacy, or is a lawyer? He's a lawyer. I hear he's a lawyer in California, but he's not a lawyer in La République du Cameroon. Has in Salai obtained what they call here the Foreign Agent Registration Act? Is he registered? And if he's registered, he's supposed to serve only the interests of the United States as a foreign agent of a foreign entity or country. He is acting in America as a foreign agent of La République du Cameroon. Is he registered? Let's suppose that he is registered. What are the benefits of what he is doing to American citizens who are Ambazonians to the United States government? What has he brought to the table as a foreign registration agent, a foreign registered agent to the United States government? He doesn't know that he's digging his legal grave. Nsala cannot win any case in the United States. For example, he has not been able to win any case that he has taken against Ambazonians. Chris Anu, Tapang Aibo, and all the noise that he has been making, the name that he has produced, defaming them, calling them terrorists. He will have another day in court. Nsala represents the Cameroon government as a foreign agent. He is a United States citizen and is representing La République de Cameroon as a foreign agent for the interest of who? If you are a US citizen, you are a foreign agent, you cannot work against the United States government. You can only work for the United States government. Is that what he is doing? Is he registered to start with? Or is using the fact that he's a lawyer in the United States, he can file any case against anybody? Because as far as I know, you cannot go to a foreign country, meet with foreign agents, plan a case to come and arrest your fellow citizens in America to stand trial in America. What are you doing? You are working against the interests of the citizens of the United States, therefore against the United States government. So Nsala is nobody. Where is the diplomacy, Dr. Dion Ngute? Where is it? You are diplomats in Washington. Have they issued any statement to say that they have done this against the Ambazonia people? And let me say also another thing. He says that the diplomatic endeavors have reduced the activities of the separatist movement in America. Is there a separatist movement? Is there a separatist movement in America? We have the Southern Cameroon government, Ambazonia, in exile in America.
Yeah.
They may have other La Republique agents like Chris Anu and others running around and making noise here, but they have not attempted to represent La Republique as foreign agents. But Nsala is a foreign agent.
If I understand you very well, you are, from your analysis, you're actually saying that all what Nsala goes on CRTV and claims and purports, all these things, those are clandestine activities that are not.
Those are clandestine activities. Yes. And they are not legally binding. You cannot go and connive with your agents, whom you call your clients in Cameroon, and then you come to America and you file frivolous actions against American citizens, and you are not registered as a foreign agent.
Let's even assume
maybe he's registered. Maybe he's registered, but he's not working for the interest of the America.
Yes. Let's assume that he is registered. Vice Mbeseha, let's get your perspective on this before we move forward. There's a lot for you to say there, and I think you have all the time. Vice Mbeseha, please.
Thank you for having me. I think from your headline, French Cameroon's outreach internationally, diplomacy or banditry. That's the topic. I would say this. There's no diplomacy in what they're saying. Absolutely no diplomacy. They are bandits. Real political bandits. And if I can explain, they have never known them anything called diplomacy, even back home. See, when this crisis started in 2016, they purported to be negotiating. But what happened? It was not going their way. They abandoned the negotiations, banned the consortium, arrested those who were talking with them, and sent them to jail. Is that diplomacy? No. Is that legality? No. Pure banditry. That's banditry. You catch the person you disagree with and lock him up. Fast forward, you talk about Nigeria. When they went to Nigeria to adopt our people, they adopted them. What did they do with them? They flew them and folded them, and they found themselves somewhere in Yaoundé. Between Cameroon and Nigeria, they are supposed to have used diplomatic things. If they had followed the law and you wanted to do diplomacy, they would have asked Nigeria to arrest whoever they thought was a criminal. And once arrested, they would have taken that person to the court in Nigeria, be it Abuja or wherever they were, and they would have sought extradition. That's the law. They didn't do that. They came in the night, hijacked people, blindfolded them, threw them in the wherever they carried them, and they found themselves in jail. Is that diplomacy or banditry? That's absolute banditry, not diplomacy. They know no diplomacy at all. That's been their style all their lives. And so, in this thing said, reported by Mimi Mifo, she says that they have diplomatically incriminated Ambazonians abroad and cut their activities through the courts. And that's where Salai comes in. Every civilized person knows that you cannot diplomatically indict somebody in a court of law. You indict somebody in a court of law, purely diplomatically, you're not going to win because the court of law is a court of law. That's the reason why, up to this point, if they thought that was diplomacy, they should have admitted that they have failed. Because all the court actions initiated by Salai, whether he's a foreign agent or not, have failed. So where is the success? Where is the success of their diplomacy through the courts? Zero diplomacy. Zero success. Salai might be whatever, but Salai himself is, I don't want to question his ability to be a lawyer. He's a lawyer. And so what he has been doing all along, I've said this before, was just to extract money that he does not deserve. He doesn't care if he lost the case against Anu, if he lost the case against you and me. He gets paid for that. He's just a retainer. His retainership is not dependent upon how many cases he wins. It depends upon what he presents as a bill. He makes the effort, like, you saw all our names on his list. We showed that list to Yaoundé. We listed 50, 200 Ambazonians and sent them to the State Department. They pay him for that. Should anybody ever be indicted here for that? Zero, possibly zero. And so, from that point, you must go to where to see what Dion Ngute was doing and to see all this report. Where was he talking to? Which was his audience? Dion Ngute's audience was Cameroon. He was addressing people from his office. And under what circumstances? You remember, this March 2025. Elections are coming October 2025. 4 months, 5 months to elections. He has an audience where he's trying to make some campaigns. He's making those statements to his own people to buy the votes or whatever it is. He's not doing it for diplomatic reasons. No, he's just duping people to show accountability as a politician. What we have done, I'm the prime minister, we have done so much, which is all a lie. He's telling people what he has done. And in that system, where he was reporting all those things, I think it was part of his national report on the Anglophone crisis, as they call it. And from there, he saw what he was doing. He was just lying. I think this morning or so, we listened to the former moderator of the Protestant church, who happens to come from Akwaya, saying that he sat there and they were lying there, the dog row in Akwaya. He protested, and they called somebody called the delegate for public works and whisper in his ear, came and say, yeah, I will confirm there will be the road there. What's all that? It's just a big lie. They are trying to buy votes for the CPDM people. And so they will tell all those lies. Another incident, which is supposed to have been diplomatic, which they are just lying. Remember the incident of the Dio of Idabato. The Dio of Idabato gets adopted by somebody who don't even know the person. He's been there for 6 months. Yeah, when they doesn't even know how they came back, how they released him. Once he's out, they're even surprised. Once they're out, they make politics out of it. Oh, did diplomacy to release him? No. All indications are that he didn't even. How will you release somebody somewhere in Dabato? How did this man get back? He came back in a boat to West Coast. He did now. On his own. Put it perhaps in a fishing boat. Is it that the government lacked a helicopter to pick him from wherever he was as a personal representative of the president? No, they didn't even know. And once they heard that he was in Idanao, what did he do? They rushed to Idanao with armored cars to carry him. They were protecting him against what? They were protected against what? One would expect that a man like that who has been somewhere in suffering for 6 months, the first action would be to take him to the hospital. They didn't do that. They ferried him in armored cars, including the governor of the Southwest, to Yaoundé. Still in his clothes that looked like prison jumpers. He looked like a prisoner. They took him there to the Prime Minister's office. Oh, welcome. And they started saying how far they had successfully negotiated the thing, they had done diplomacy, which are all lies. And once confronted with the question, yes, your diplomatic efforts brought back this man here. What of the guy who was adopted with him? They have no answer. They have no answer. So what are they trying to do? They are just telling a story to buy the votes. They are trying to take advantage of a situation which is not theirs. Dion Ngute at his age should know what to say. They will talk about Archbishop Andrew Nkea in the last segment. These people are old people. They have to admit where it went wrong. This thing has not worked. It is not working. It will not work. Because you cannot mix diplomacy with legality. And we can remember that the Republic of Cameroon has never won any case against Ambazonians. Not even a single case that has gone to court. Because that's where legality implies. But talk about the Communication 266, where they had all the ability to bring evidence, bring their own lawyers. They lost the case. Can we cite other cases that they have fought against Ambazonians? Akwanga just won. Any case that has gone to court was won, either as an individual or as groups. And so where is this diplomacy this man is talking about? Absolutely zero diplomacy. They are nothing but bandits, which is why they are afraid they have no legality in whatever thing they're doing. That's their greatest fear. That's their resistance to coming to the conference table and addressing the root causes of this dispute. They will not come because the root causes are right there. Everybody knows them. They know them. But rather than come there, they will adopt different methods. Catch whoever raises a finger and lock him up. Destroy you or kill you if you raise a protest against them. So is this something you can call diplomacy? Is it diplomacy by killing? No. What are they fighting for? What would they say is diplomatic in what they have been doing? We have seen a little bit of efforts of diplomacy they have made, which have all been woeful. They have been failures. The last two, which I will just mention in passing, are, you remember that the French ambassador has been to Bamenda twice in the past 6 or 8 months. The ambassador is a diplomat. You can say that's diplomacy. But he went there and promised whatever he promised. Has he succeeded? No. Today, the epic center of the fighting is in Bamenda. The epic center of the fighting is in the northwest region, where this man went there diplomatically and told them that he brought 60 billion something to repair the roads, to enforce the Grand National Dialogue. Can you say that is that's diplomacy successful? No. That's collapsed. That's failed. And so these people are just nobody. They are just criminals in everything they do. They cannot find any diplomatic effort. They cannot show a single success diplomatically that they have. Nothing. Going back through the back doors and manufacturing evidence to incriminate by the king or me or somebody. It's not diplomacy, it's criminality. It's criminality. So these people are pure criminals. It is an outlaw state that nobody should ever be allowed to trade with them. And so that's who they are, that's what they have been. And therefore, what he puts there again, I've said it's for local consumption, not even by everybody, by the thieves, so-called CPDM, whose sole goal at this moment, if I venture to say it, is to steal the presidential election coming in the next 6 months. They will do all that. And so these are people, this question is very, very good for me. These people are just criminals. And I can use this opportunity. I put out a small article yesterday, which I encourage Ambazonians to read, which is dealing with simple things. The idea of independence by joining, which they stole it, they criminally distorted the facts, destroyed the law, made a token of one indivisible Cameroon, for which they are fighting and losing 68 members of their armed forces in a week, or in 2 weeks, or in 2 months. Is that sustainable? No. Losing 24 armored cars. The cost of an armored car is so much. The people escape to go and fight in Ukraine because they want more money. Is that success? No. Is that diplomatic? Certainly not. And so, but what would they say? When these people go to their place without telling them, they escape to go and fight, they die. They come and tell them, they put out a small piece of paper. Oh no, why people should not go out on their own? They went out on their own because they are deserted. They call that one desertion. You cannot discourage desertion with a ministerial note. You can only discourage desertion by better pay because mercenaries fight for pay. They know that the chances that they're going to Ukraine were that they will die. And therefore, they are prepared to die for a high price on which their children, their families will depend on. And so again, this is not diplomacy for Cameroon. This is banditry from day one. From day one. When they disable Fancha, they send you to jail. When they disable Muna, they throw you away. When they disable Fanka Shang Roman, they make you to die. And everybody, those are acts of banditry. That's criminality at its roots. They have not.
I think we're going to get again. We're going to get in some of the. We're going to get deeper in some of the backdoor activities and how Cameroon uses proxies like Nkea and many others, and even the Nsah, sending them in America with a lot of money to come and manipulate leaders. We'll get back to that. But I want us to look at the pressure that the colonial administration is currently facing and different perspectives from leaders. One of those whom I am very excited for us to share her opinion is Chihumbori Kwo, Arikana Chihumbori Kwo. She had an exclusive interview with Al Jazeera. I've watched it at least 4 times. And we have an excerpt that is kind of linked to the changing dynamics. I wish I had you last week, Barrister Mbeseha. The changing dynamics, the situation in America, the pressure with Cameroon featuring in the list of countries that have been given 60 days to comply, or else it will be much more a serious ban, travel ban for them. All of that has to do with what is happening, the U.S. policy and what is changing. Let's watch this excerpt. When we come back, we'll process that, talk about Nkea, and then bring Commander Willy again. That will be telling us some things about defense on the ground so that we can conclude this program. And that is where, when we talk about this, that's where we're going to open the phone lines to take some calls. There are some people who have already shown interest that they want to make contribution in this program. Let's watch Arikana briefly. We'll be back.
There is need for readjustments. There is need for realignment. We need to understand the real reason why USAID is in Africa. And not just USAID, but other NGOs. You look at DFID, which is the British equivalent, and many other smaller ones. Their sole purpose was to act as if they're coming to rescue Africa. They are coming to fill in the gaps in government services, gaps in education, gaps in healthcare, gaps in humanitarian services. They're coming in the guise of addressing issues to do with human rights, issues to do with environmental protection and social justice. They are coming in claiming that they are introducing grassroots initiatives that are going to help the people. And so they use that as a way to go into the most remote parts of Africa. They're talking about government advocacy. When you look at it on paper, it all looks really good. But they're actually wolf in sheep's clothing. They are using that open access sounding humanitarian to constantly destabilize governments. I can tell you right now, the majority of African leaders, and not just African leaders, but leaders in the developing world, are celebrating the exit of USAID. I was listening to a program, I believe it was CNN, and I was jumping up and down. It was a government official from Hungary. He was echoing the same sentiments. He said they are happy USAID is leaving Hungary because they are always supporting opposition. Their form of government advocacy is supporting whoever can keep the government in a turmoil. Major meddling agenda. Why do we need them? Africa has been the provider. If you look at Europe, Europe cannot survive without Africa. One situation that people don't realize, post-World War, when the US came up with the Marshall Plan, what they don't tell you is that the contribution through exploitation of African minerals was actually the biggest funder of the European Recovery Plan, ERP, aka the Marshall Plan. US contributed $13 billion, which is now present day $175 billion, which, by the way, the American taxpayer must be paid back. Nobody's asking for that money back. But what they don't tell you is that Africa, through exploitation of its resources by the Europeans, was actually a much, much bigger contribution to the European recovery post-World War II. Nobody talks about that. Why does such a continent that did so much to help Europe recover continue to be so poor? Africa does not need the aid. What we need is for those who are exploiting Africa to stop. Africa has everything it needs. If Africa could have contributed as much as it did to the recovery of Europe post-World War II, why wasn't Africa equally developed? I think this is a wake-up call for the African leaders. To the same extent that President Trump is saying USA first, African leaders must also say Africa first. This is a wake-up call to the African leaders to take inventory of what is really happening in their countries. Do they really need the peanuts that are coming in as aid? What is really going out? The French companies that were mining the uranium were paying the government 80 cents a kilo for the uranium, and then turning around and selling the uranium to the rest of the world at 200 euros a kilo. So that one move from the Nigerian government to say we are now going to take ownership of our own uranium, they went from realizing about $1 billion in uranium resources to over 300 billion a year. Do you realize what I'm talking about? No amount of NGO could bring that kind of money. And this is only one mineral. Now imagine the country taking inventory of all their minerals and benefiting from their natural resources like the rest of the countries in the Western world. That is what African leaders need to look at. My position is Africans must take a position and protect their turf. The question is, does Africa have an African position when they come to the negotiating table with the world? The answer right now is no. Africa must unite. Africa must speak with one voice, and Africa must go to the world stage with one voice, one agenda, one plan that the world will have to respond. So no. These institutions were not created to benefit the developing world. To the contrary, they were built to steal from the developing world. Their success is based on the failures of the developing nations where they have been stealing from. So no. We must celebrate what President Trump is doing by exiting the United Nations, by exiting the World Health Organization. We need the U.S. to exit the World Trade Organization because they are doing nothing on the African end. They are giving a blind eye to blatant exploitations, unequal, uneven trade policies that are hurting Africa.
That was Arikana Chihombori Kwa, former chair for the AU. An amazing one. I'm sure you gentlemen would have watched the interview with Al Jazeera, but this is the angle I want us to take it from. There's a lot of change in Washington, and a lot of countries in Africa are fidgeting and jittering. And Cameroon happens to be under serious pressure. On one hand, and that's why you see Dion Ngute coming out to talk about diplomacy. It's a way of trying to absorb some of the shock. In front of journalists, Dion Ngute is trying to act as though the government is okay. But it is not okay in Yaoundé as we speak right now. On the other hand, their military calculation in the southern Cameroon is gone in shambles. Every single day, they are being targeted and neutralized. The army's endeavor is being neutralized in Ambazonia. You have seen some of the videos that are just coming in from my file today. My file, it's not all about Bowie. So the Cameroon military is facing immense pressure as we speak right now. There's a lot in this, and I don't want us to focus on the claims of Chihumbori, on the things that he's saying. I want us to look at Ambazonia's interest of what advantage it is right now to have the State Department, because Trump is getting consultation from them, mounting pressure on Cameroon government to comply. We know Cameroon is not meeting up human rights standards. Cameroon is lying, and they know. How do we benefit from these changes? When the US aid is no longer there, people like Chris Fomeyu has expressed frustrations. In fact, under my wall, my Facebook wall, I have a screenshot of that already. I'm going to get into that in future. Dr. Chris Fomeyu claims when he was being pressured, or allegedly that he has been benefiting from the US aid, claims that he is doing work for the refugees. By Mbeseha, you and I know what the refugees, and he precised the refugees in Nigeria. You and I know what the refugees know. I don't even want us to get into that today. Let us just look at what is happening in the State Department and Cameroon featuring what are the disadvantages by Fru and by Mbeseha. This ban, how does it? Is there any green aspect of Cameroon under this pressure for Ambazonia right now? And if there be, what it is, because the public needs this education as we speak. I'll begin with you, Barrister Fru.
Yes, Paddy, if you look at Cameroon, it falls under the column which is yellow.
Yeah.
They have been given 60 days to comply, or they'll face a ban, travel ban. What does that mean? It will be difficult for Cameroonians to travel to the United States, particularly members of government. Mr. Trump is going to ban them from traveling to the United States. If they don't, within 60 days, they do not clean up their mess. That's why they are under yellow. They are not yet red. When they put you under red, it means that they have already decided that travel ban, your country is excluded from traveling to the United States. And of course, United States citizens may not even go to your country. They will be advised. They are not banned, but they will be advised to avoid your country. So Cameroon has 60 days to clean its act. And let me tie that with what the French government and the French presidency is saying today about Cameroon. Before I got here, Paddy, I just read on social media and I listened to a video by Macron and some French journalists exchanging. They are saying, if France loses Africa, France is finished. Young people should know that France cannot lose Africa. It's not even being considered that France will lose Africa. I tie that with what they have just issued, a threat to La République du Cameroon. If they exclude Kamto Maurice as a candidate, Cameroon, there will be an economic embargo and all kinds of sanctions melted against Cameroon, which is already in an economic crisis. And if they do that, Cameroon cannot survive. Number two, if Mr. Biya insists on being a candidate, it's the same thing. There will be an economic embargo from France to Cameroon. And that is telling us that France is not prepared to go down with Cameroon. France is also looking for other means, both English and speaking African countries, to purge. France cannot lose Africa, because if France loses Africa, the France that we know today will no longer be France. That is coming from Macron and the French journalists. How does it translate to Ambazonia? Look, the ban trade on Cameroon, it's a plus for Ambazonia, because that ban trade, let me release this. I cannot stay without releasing this. It will not apply to Ambazonians. Ambazonia is at war. The whole world knows and the United States knows. So Ambazonia is not included in that yellow mark, that ban, that threat of ban. And if Cameroon does not clear up its acts in 60 days, they can no longer travel to America, but Ambazonians will.
So you are saying that identified as someone born, in quotes, in the two African Northwest and Southwest regions, and as a Saudi Cameroonian or an Anglophone, you are typically excluded from that.
You are excluded from the ban. You are excluded from the ban. First, the United States knows that Southern Cameroon is at war with La République du Cameroon. It's a war zone. And they also know that we have not crossed, the war has not crossed into La République du Cameroon. The travel ban is against the human rights and all the things that, all what you heard in Geneva against Cameroon for human rights violations and other vices. So the Trump administration is giving them 60 days to clean their act. Come clean.
Yeah.
And if I have to extrapolate, I would say that they are now putting pressure on La République du Cameroon to come to the table with Ambazonia. Maybe that may be the beginning of the clearing process, or somewhere along the line. That is my reading, eh?
I'm kind of suspecting, because it is this same administration that sponsored the Swiss trial. Vice Mbeseha, maybe you want to come in there.
Yes, what I wanted to say.
Please come in.
What I wanted to say is this. The Gulf Cameroon is on the yellow. It's to be on the red. But if I had anything to do there, they should have been on the red, not the yellow. Because they are a danger to any civilized world. They are not supposed to be on the yellow based on their records. You talk about what are we getting, what is the problem? For example, when the US pulls out of all these organizations, it is because they pay money there. Let us just give examples why they should be on the red. COVID-19 just passed a few years back. The money that they gave them for COVID-19 included American money. What did they do with the money? They stole the money. It is not me saying. Even on their own records, they stole the money. They made reports. They stole the money and ran away with it. This American money. On the human rights issues that Mr. Nsoh has said, their records are so bad. So why even put them on the yellow? It's supposed to be on the red. But let us address what they meant by travel ban. The travel ban, I doubt if one day the American will come and say, oh, no Cameroon will come here. No. They start with restrictions, not on the 30 million Cameroonians, call them like that. No. They're restricted to a class of people, officially government officials and people with official positions. Your father, your mother can still come here. And so the people who issue visas for them to come here are in the American embassy in Yaoundé. And so when you go there, as you're asking, you present your paperwork. They know who you are. They know that you're coming from Garoua. They know that you're coming from Boya. They know you're coming from Betua. And so these restrictions, I'm sure, should not apply to Ambazonians. Because on the record, they know that we Ambazonians, call them Anglophones, are already victims in Cameroon. Victims of repression, victims of injustice, victims of everything that you can imagine. And so they can be able to identify who is not concerned with this, or who is concerned with this. They could restrict a few Ambazonians, call them Dion, Ngute, call them Mafani, who hold high positions, who are associated with these crimes, who are associated with the theft and the graft that they do on the country. And so that is how it should work, and I hope that is how it will work. I'm not able to analyze the details of what will happen, but that looks like the guidelines. And just to say a bit about what Arikana was saying there, she's a very good orator, but sometimes she just says things like, no work. Do we need Africa together, for example, to drive away these colonialists? No, Africans will not come together because they don't have a common front. Traore did not go to console Nigeria. Neither did he come to console Cameroon or another country to drive away the French. The people of Niger did not do the same. So Africans must stand up by themselves. You should be able to drive away the people by asserting your rights. Do people know how to drive them? Of course they do. These people who are in governments, call it in Cameroon or anywhere else in Africa, are very, very well-educated people. Some with PhDs from American, British, or French universities. Do you know what they're doing? Will you say, for example, that Dion doesn't know what he's doing? He knows. And so they should be able to send away these people and then take control of their own countries individually, not waiting for when they will come together as Africans. No. When the French were signing agreements in 1959 with their individual colonies, they didn't consult the Nigerians, they didn't consult the Algerians, they signed it by themselves. So right now, they should be able to understand, I'm sure they understand. Colonialism ended, but economic exploitation did not end. They also have economists, professors in economics, professors in politics. So the Africans should assert themselves. What the State Department is doing, what the American government under Trump is doing, is the right thing. People should be held accountable. You have to develop yourself. Don't wait for Americans. Don't wait for human rights groups. Don't wait for aid to develop your own country. Develop your own country. If you're only building an earth road, build your earth road and prepare for a tar road tomorrow. If you're only roofing your houses with thatches, roof them with thatches and get money and buy your own zinc and so on and so forth. You have to develop yourselves. You should wait to read what Arekana is saying there. It's not new. The Africans know all those things. And because they don't want that thing to be said, Arekana was, remember, in the United States, representing the African Union. They fired her for telling those truths because they knew that she was telling what they did not want to hear. And so they fired her. Again, let the Africans assert themselves. Again, in Cameroon, let Ambazonians keep doing what they are doing. We are lucky to be in the United States. And I'm sure this government has filaments in there. We know how to give them information. So that even what they give and call it clearing their arts, as Nsoh says, we will know the real facts. What they will give here will counter them who are really here in the United States, who to counter some of their so-called facts. And so let's just keep doing what we're doing, putting the pressure where it is, giving the American government, the State Department, the rightful information. Once they have the rightful information, they trust us. They will know that what we're saying is true. That's when they start to build trust. You know that if we have a country tomorrow which we are trying to get, we shall be able to stand on our own. We shall not come back to America to ask for aid. We can ask for something, but not perpetual aid. And so that's how Ambazonia should profit from it. We're lucky that hate Trump or like Trump, he has one advantage. He's holding people accountable. And that's what Ambazonia is all about. Hold people accountable politically, hold people accountable economically, hold people accountable in human rights, and so on and so forth. And so we're right here. We can exploit it. We should exploit it. We're already exploiting it. Over to you.
So you are saying, by Mbeseha and by Fru, as we make progress with this conversation, that a travel ban, those with immigration issues might be agitating. The travel ban from a bigger spectrum has an important diplomatic advantage as Ambazonia is fighting the war. That's what the both of you say. I like us to see that. And how is that by? Yeah,
let me add something. Let me add something. Yes, I can know. I pose the same question as my senior colleague. Why Cameroon was not in red? And a university teacher, university professor here, who is a friend of mine, and who also works part-time, is no longer working because he has been fired from the federal government. He told me that if Cameroon had yellow, it is because of Ambazonia. It's because of the war in Ambazonia. That is why Cameroon had yellow. They would have had red. Based on the damning human rights report that came out of Geneva, they would have had red. That's what I wanted to add.
But Mbeseha, it seems you want to say something, please.
Yeah, I want to say that, look, immigration is individual. So Ambazonians, where you apply for visas to come to the United States, that's what is called immigration. Prepare your files well. So you go there, even if you go there with your wife or your child, you will be interviewed alone. It's possible for you to be getting a visa while your wife doesn't have one. So prepare your cases, whatever thing individually, because you don't have the same story to tell. People have different stories. If you are preparing your file and you have difficulties, if you're coming here on a visit, you have a friend, a sister, a brother, maybe you may need their help. Maybe they might need our help. We are available to help. Over to you.
Okay, we have the phone lines are open right now. We're going to receive a few contributions as we move to the next phase where Commander Willy is going to come in. But I want us to enjoy some of the videos that are coming in from the ground. Because we're going to comment again on...
Paddy, I have a very short time. I sent you a note.
Okay, so how long do you think you want to be with us?
Well, I thought we were going to end now, but if there's any call, maybe you do that before you give the break, because somebody might call that might interest us.
Okay, that's awesome. Why I'm trying to get this call coming through, let's watch what is coming in the images we're getting in from my 5 Nkea, Bamenda. This
I don't sleep. I didn't. Can't see something. I see all. Are they done? I don't see. I'm happy too. Yes. I think you should be the boy don't carry forget him. I see what he's saying.
That's an amazing one right there. You're welcome, Commander Willy. for joining us in this conversation. That is the same Cameroon that is returning to normalcy, and it appears that the state army is bent on giving the State Department of the United States of America and the Trump administration enough reason. Like Commander Willy said during the flash news with Tabitha, he said, you're going to see fighters that have been silent for a while. They took some break. And we saw that the mountain lions also roaring in Fako 2 weeks ago. And now there's a lot happening. So much is happening. Maybe you want to talk to us briefly before the lawyers make a comment. Commander Willy, thank you for being patient. So much is happening on the ground. Give us an overview. I understand that you've done some of it with Tabitha, but you want to talk to us again a little bit more.
Volume.
Your sound is on, please.
Sound.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear, please.
Yeah, Sheikh Day for all Ambazonia State Army with the grievance for the good work they do for Ground Day. At this difficult moment and at this critical moment, the only diplomacy way Ambazonia in Noam now for fight. We appreciate all Ambazonia State Army them. The reservists the way they don't come back for battlefield. Those the way they take the time off. They don't come back for battlefield. Those where they go retirement, some they still come back for battlefield because why? They still train more people than for send for battlefield. As the hit, they go for La Republique them. La Republique government, which we don't do, is using manipulation. I will give an example. When I see for this past week how from Trump administration, for which we talk as barrister, they don't talk and for here. Cameroon government for come for deceive the world. They don't go carry British High Commissioner, they bring Bamenda. They can't show them a DDR center. But when the man come, they say BMT. So what the Cameroon government do? He carries a woman and picking them from Bafusam. He bring them for DDR center. Those francophone them, he bring them for DDR center, he give the uniform, they wear them, they go gritty. For food, them say no man day. But and again, and that's why the Cameroon government bring that High Commissioner for Bamenda. Now for make us say me Ambazonia State Army, they shoot to kill him. So that when they kill him, they go say, you see what they do for them. So they will make British, they will be against us. They will be wise more than the way they think. When that person don't come, he don't see that DDR center, he see and say it be empty. And he see and say, those people, the way they say they stay for DDR center, no, Cameroon, I'm not even feed them. How you go do even carry their family and the woman and bring up DDR center. So to make a long story short, as Cameroon army, they go around the world, they try to deceive the world. First, they say no problem, no day. Now they say things are coming back to normal from their own statement. But make I give a quote where the Europeans are using for label John Ngute them when they go for places them. They call it say vultures. They call Cameroon diplomats say vultures. Hyena. Hyena. This animal. So when they want to talk for Cameroon official, they say, oh, we got one vulture, we got two vultures. Oh, vultures are coming. When they say vultures are coming, at the code word where the Europeans use them for call Cameroon officials them. Because they don't say they own how for chop and lick mob and vulture, they're not scavengers. So now they use them for call them. So me I be for a situation where I hear the user language for talk for this, say we'll get two vultures. So John Ngute them and all those gangsters and a vulture and all. Coming back for this fight, we don't say from Quen, a bafoot from Mufoya quarter, we don't say we'll get enablers of that area. I think that way for this past week, as intelligence become, they will go for them for go see those people where they hold we back. And then Cameroon army for the patrol intercept them and then that gunshot will happen. When I see some army they will shoot them for back, we want to see them. That video when I get on just half. Because certain people then they put any kind of video for they send it directly for we and we analyze and we look them and then we keep them for future use for what don't use for grab. Now, as the fight is continue, maybe when I see we not worry too much for what we Cameroon government do. We get our own agenda, waiting for do, how for do, and when for do. With the focus for the economy, with the focus for the economic sector, we focus for the health sector, and as such, we focus for the resources where they can carry from us. We have money and we are chopped. You know, they go for Cameroon government again based on the fight from Ambazonia. We don't cripple the economy heavily. When I don't see they don't carry chop wheelbarrow them and equipment they can't get for Bamenda and for Boya City, so make we increase productivity because they get food insecurity for the area. So they say more increased food productivity. My question is, for go feed who? How would the people ready to kill us? May they carry that wheelbarrow they can't get for Bamenda for Boya. May they go for Yaoundé for go clean the streets. Yaoundé is filthy and dirty. We would not see how they fight. Money no day we Cameroon come and take for the clean the street them. Yaoundé don't put na capital for dirty for the well. Capital for dirty for Africa na Yaoundé. When I see dirty for the every minister they say no dirty no day because the minister do that dirty. They live on deception and lie. Anything Cameroon government talk for paper, then for down mob, now all for mob, they don't implement that. As the fight go, make I repeat them again. With the document everything they come in. For January 19 army, they be die. February 16, for March 33, total 68. We confirm them. Where they die. For January, 4 Amoka, they be go. When I talk of 4 Amoka, I'm saying Blum. Chakara and some of the personnel inside. Those personnel don't factorize them for the dead. February 7 for March 11, total 22. And then they wounded them for January 6, February 3, and for March 8, total 17. Those ones they be deserted, and we'll keep some of their names for certain reason. As the day they go on, when I go see the numbers for Ambazonia State Army, them, those where they be onlookers, some of them don't get material for hand. War draft money don't come for the last war draft where the federal government do them. Money don't be allocated for certain department where you get for carry out certain operation or certain project them. And with the hope say this so that money will be used correctly and wisely. Some people they don't talk say this so I do this, this one they fight and then they do so, I give other fight and then they do so. Sometimes when you hold umbrella for hand, now you go know when for close and when for opener. So fighter for ground, all the voluntary service fighters for ground. We get what we call DNA for fight. But I go use a coin language when they call the word DNA. When man say DNA for Ambazonia, I will say develop natural army. Our army them they be naturally developed. Yes, Ambazonia State them naturally developed. Natural say waiting, they are freeborn people. They woke up for the house, they pick gun naturally, and they fight for liberate themselves. Ambazonia State Army they fight every day. The number of casualties them for our side, it don't be for Ambazonia State Army, they don't be reduced. Cabro Army them, they go around, catch any civilian, they kill them. They go kill them, they put gun for skin, they send an amber. They catch people, they put them for pack, they shoot them, they send an amber. But that one in a natural civilian, the way Cabro Army, they kill them, they go. Last but not the least, me and Papa them for home front, with the time when I would sit to a Cameroon Army, they do it for una. We do it to know 100%. Maybe when I hold the ground strong, we need to count months, we count weeks and hours, we will be for Boya. Moving forward, as we don't see how Cameroon government, it don't catch Umami that found them for Bamenda. It lock them. They catch chicken them, lock inside store. So when they don't die, they no fit chop. When I don't see how Cameroon Army, they go ahead again, it install chiefs them, Colonial chiefs them, like for Manyemen. Any chief will be installed by Colonial Army, will not go accept that. Mami and Papa then will beg una, me will not go for Calabila, for governor and Dion, them for go beg them for help. If I want time for beg help, anytime when they protest for ground, or when they say when I need help, when I go get a flyer like this, or I will say President Donald Trump help us. President Donald Trump come to our rescue. When I carry America president a flyer, he say make America great again. He go make Ambazonia great again. America be vote for independence, and as such, as Donald Trump said, make America great again. He go make Ambazonia great again. Why you beg for help? You need to beg for help for the person who give you the trouble. Instead that you go for mosquito, you go asking for solution. Now, Calabila they give you this trouble, so we're not going to go there for beg for help. Moving forward, today, March 22nd, 2025, for home front, Mami and Papa them, when I will make even a flyer, even for onboard, when I will write as America, come help us. America liberate us. Donald Trump liberate us. Everyone they cry when I say America come to our rescue. They go come. America for the whole world, they get a fast responding time. They got the world's strongest army, second by Ambazonia State Army, because they're volunteer. We army them, then they pay them. So when I go when I go pray and when I go beg now for America, make a hell away. President Donald Trump be ready for liberate we all. He don't say many man go for a country for go develop them. Would the pray say we are a country where don't be invaded, occupied by the Republic, make him move him out so that we too will go for there, we go invite him, he can visit us. Moving forward, with the back America say based on the visa restriction where they give for the Republic, Make it come for Ambazonia can be like embassy for inside Boya. Make President Donald Trump can be like embassy for inside Boya. Make it can kick Cameroon army out of Manaobe. You get a good military base, amphibian base for inside Victoria for Ambazonia. Make it come. We get a good river port where you go for Nigeria through Manfe. Make they can build a military base for them. Make they kick La Republic out. So America want to help us. All those who they serve for America with this grief and all. With the time when I want service and sacrifices, overall, President Sako don't say we go fight and make all man listen to this. Mommy and Papa them as we work at it, move forward. Cameroon want make election. He never put election campaign list so that we don't know who you go win. The answer I say probably he don't already win. Now how we go do? We go hold the ground strong. We go log road at random. We not go to say today na ghost and not be ghost town. Every time you see Ambazonia State Army, when we don't lock, you respect them. They fight for Ambazonia on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 24/7. Now self-defense for Ambazonia. We not get no one day to say, oh, did they? So if you want to come up for inside Ambazonia, go for Manfe to Kumba or anything. Carry extra clothes, carry extra chop at any time. Ambazonia State Army get right for lock any area, for make control, for fish à la Republic, fish at enabler and kill them. So make you get them for your head. All those Ambazonia State Army, the way they don't deserve go for La Republic, they know if you come back again. Ambazonia State Army, not Akbara Army. You go for the remain for La Republic. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Commander Willy. There are two sides to the coin here that I want the lawyers to come in. One side has to do with the call for Trump's intervention, and Trump is saying he's not in for globalization. He's not a globalist. He's a nationalist, but he's willing to help stabilize countries. So his statement is kind of political. He's trying to put America first. And another side, we now have Bishop Nkea shockingly, strangely talking with a softer tone. For a long time, Nkea has been a campaign strategist for the Cameroon government. Nkea has actively tried to disarm the Cameroonian fighters. Now he is telling the government you have to engage. There are some individuals like Nelson Ochiba, some activists and others believe that he's talking about negotiation with the clan that went to Canada. I'll begin with you, Barrister Fru. Let's look at these two things here. Trump's help and Nkea's proxies trying to ask their government to submit or humble themselves down for an open conversation.
I don't know whether he's talking about those who went to Canada until I see the communique itself where he's calling for negotiations. I thought from the screen, it said calling on the Cameroon government to open negotiations with the Ambazonian government. Ambazonian government did not go to Canada.
Yeah.
Ambazonian government did not go to Canada. They know who controls the fight on the ground in Ambazonia. It's the Ambazonian government, led by His Excellency Dr. Samuel Nkea.
I think he meant about Ambazonian leadership. I think he meant Ambazonian leadership, which is kind of... Just a moment. It's kind of technical from different perspective because as we know, and like Commander Ebi said last week, Cameroon for a long time was trying to project Joe Ayaba as a leader of this movement so that they would do what they are doing right now. But against every reasonable doubt, the world and the Cameroons actually know who is leading the movement right now. They created Marianta, they created Chris Ano, and probably they are trying to do another creation right now. And all of the creations have simply just dissipated in thin air. So there is no argument that the leader of this movement as we speak is the president. And we also know that with President Sako, we also know that Nkea was sent by Yaoundé to try to see if they could have a discussion with President Sako. President Sako sent an audio to say, if you send a person that is not of equivalent to the president, I will also send that same equivalent. As far as
I was coming to that. 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 All I was saying is that Nkea had been sent here once to come and try to meet with our president.
Yeah.
He didn't succeed. So he canceled the journey. Nkea knows, the government of La Republique knows who is calling the shots on the ground. If you listen very carefully, even the SDF, when they made their propaganda, they avoided the name Sako. You only hear the Chris Anu, the Ayuk Tabe, and so on and so on. They know that the government of the Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, in exile in the United States, is pulling the shot, is the one leading the war on the ground, is the one liberating their people on the ground. If you don't negotiate with that government, you have not negotiated anything with Ambazonia. So they know. I will not say that they don't know. They are not idiots. They know. They have been trying to avoid the Ambazonian government, but it's not working for them. So they are in Nkea now is the chief enabler that was fronting for La Republique of Cameroon in Ambazonia. They have sent him to call for negotiations, and those negotiations will take place. Listen, when the Catholic Church begins to talk like this, it comes from the top of the Catholic Church, and also the government in place, which is purportedly to respect the Catholic Church. So I am predicting that this Nkea's call is mounted by La Republique of Cameroon because they are prepared now for talks. They have seen the handwriting on the wall. They've seen the new government in the United States. They've seen what they are capable of doing, and they are now calling, please, let's negotiate this thing before we sink completely. That's my thought.
Okay, by some days I know that you would probably want to leave. I think I'll give you the mic to speak right now. Before you speak, let me just make a brief comment. I think I agree with you, Barrister Fru, that the Catholic Church is sensing that their efforts to corrupt with Cameroon is not working. But I cannot stop them, owing to the fact that their leadership in the Cameroon would have been in close collaboration with Cameroon's fraud. Yeah, Barrister Mbeseha, please.
Well, I think that we make relevance out of irrelevance. I don't think that the Cameroon government, when they appointed Archbishop Andrew, they gave him a blank check. Now, they are politicians. They gave him a mission and apparently told him, go do this for us. Talk to A, B, C, and D. And then he has come to the end of his mission, and it has failed. If he expected Yaoundé to popularly go and talk to President Sako, then we are missing the point in diplomacy. You will not do that. But they know, as President Nsoh says, we're not, you and me are speaking here, they're watching us. We're not speaking from the moon. They're watching us. We don't know. This is what Andrew has told us publicly. Go and negotiate. We don't know why he writes in his private report to them to end his mission. That is their business. Yaoundé knows, as President Nsoh says, if you want to end this battle, if you want to do this, do the right thing. And the right thing they ought to do, that is, talk to the people who are fighting the war. Talk to the people who are living this thing. Everybody knows it is President Sako's government. And so we don't waste our time there. They will talk to us, whether they like it or not. They will talk to us. Talk to President Sako. We don't need to belabor the point. They can't talk to anybody. They are not going to end the struggle. They are not going to do anything until they talk to us. We are an established government. And luckily for us, we're here in the United States. Not because the Americans will help us. This is a free world where we can say what we want to say. And so they will talk to us. Nkea has done his job. He has come to the end of his mission. Being a pastor, he's been honest to tell them that we failed. What the mission he gave me did not succeed. Change the approach. Nkea he didn't just come here. He was part of the Grand National Dialogue. The story he told them there, he agrees that the Grand National Dialogue too has failed. And so that is the truth. When they said they agreed the Grand National Dialogue has failed. All the steps they've taken earlier have all failed. The only thing left is to go talk to the rightful Ambazonians in court. Whether they like it or not, they will talk to us. They can invite another person there, we shall be the principal actors. Over to you.
I am on television. I will call you back.
There's something you have said. You've said it approximately 7 times. I was counting. They will talk to us. You know, I've hardly ever seen you being blunt, because most of the time you're always being politically.
No, they will talk to us. They will talk to us.
Barrister Mbeseha, you said it approximately 7 times. Whether they like it or not, they can go around, turn around, talk to any person. They will talk to us. And Ambazonians cannot be excited enough to hear you say that again. They will talk to us. Commander Willy, as we prepare to get them talk to us, what are you planning ahead of the criminal elections? We have some reports that there are still election posts in Kumba, in certain parts. We are hoping that the Ambazonian State Army should start by, first of all, burning down all of these structures. The president said any electioneering in the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is a crime. You've heard the barristers talking. They will talk to us. And the work you are doing on the ground with the state army will only justify why they must talk to us. They will talk to us. Commander Willy, please.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Paddy. When you talk of they will talk to us, we're going to talk to them with a gun, because diplomacy for home front are gone. The enemy is all gone. I left the other language for barrister than for Namona, the Pluto for her. For down the enemy, no, all gone, and now all gone and gone and gone. We enemy the here. You will see other people that will come up. They will say violence not a solution for anything. Yeah, but what I've noticed, let me say the English. What I've noticed in the world is that those who are educated, they will gang themselves up. They call themselves the name of diplomacy. They come and kill people, burn houses, rape women, and then when you fight back, they say you're a criminal. They have gone to school, acquire all the knowledge, acquire all the technology to use it to kill us and wipe us all. There's no way we as Ambazonia can live for La Republic. There's no way. La Republic is a pig country, and we cannot live for the wicked pig. This pig, they came to our country, Ambazonia. They have killed us, burned more than 700 villages, displaced people, killed people, shoot them, rape them. Those who have escaped Ambazonia to other part of the world, they have gone and arrested them and brought them back into La Republic, kidnapped them, and the world is just watching. When you say they will talk to us, we're going to talk to them with a gun. Those who are coming to the election boxes, we know them, we have their names. We have lists of all people who are violating Ambazonia state rules and regulations. As the day they go ahead, when I will see someone, they're going to die for street like chicken. We know we can't shout everything or they do everything, because we want to say make the fighters they stay for the community. We want to make they not jeopardize their security. And because the main aim from Ambazonia State Army is to protect and defend the homeland for Ambazonia. As a president, you don't talk. Those where they come for can do election boxes them, we know them already. Some of them, the pastors them and the churches them, we know the churches them where they can't keep election boxes them, we know them already. When I see Bishop Nkea, they can say, maybe we have good dialogue. We don't hold them for throat, they don't feel breathe. We get for still increase the pressure so that we're going to enter the jugular vein and squeeze and all and get it. When you see Bishop Nkea, they can say, maybe we try for maybe the government go to negotiate with Ambazonia government, maybe go talk with them. Now, tactic for me can say, oh, they listen to the solution, they listen to the solution, a lie. Paddy, when we be small, will fight. Remember, you put grass on my mob, offer, I put grass on your mob, you go say, oh, hey, Paddy, I surrender. When you leave me, I go do it and I will bounce back. So that the two way they try for use them, we know when they bounce back. We don't already hold them for the tight spot. We go hold them and we will reach to side with the reach. We will not say for Kumba, they get certain election offices and for certain places them. Before you burn an office, you consider too, sometimes, make a talk public. Sometimes they can't force themselves, they drive one and Ambazonia person, they own a house. So you consider for no put your own person in your own house for flame when your own Ambazonia person will be innocent. Would you consider side with people that they stay? We know say most of their elected places and they don't take them, they can't they attach them for corner people the houses them. And we know like from Nkea and for Bafut, we know those where they be in charge of those things them. Likewise for Manfe and for Manfe, we know, and we'll get a list of all those them. We'll get list for all those people where they work with CPDM, where they keep election boxes them. We know who they keep them. We know go worry. We'll say we'll go find or go kill them. It'll be very simple. We know how they stay. Sometimes when you can't kill some of them, you extract the person way now they commit the crime. You know you can't kill all man. You extract the moment if somebody woman they carry boxes, they can't hide them for us. You go on and the moment they hold the box, you know they go kill all man. You go kill the man with the default, like the defaulter. Just like when the call goes down, you carry taxi on top or down. Now so you go. We know say former headmaster them and current headmaster them, whether they work with CPDM, they keep election boxes them. We know say churches them. So any church where we will catch election box today, we go burn them. Any school will catch election box today, we go burn them. Where you keep election inside your house, inside school, inside hospital, we go burn them and not go hide them. Because that means now you the colonizers, now you the suppressors, and now you the mashers. Cameroon government are a wicked pig. We not feel stay with them, we not be cohabitate with them, and we use President Sako a word. We not be related to La Republique, even by DNA. We not be related to them by any way, any means possible. They don't invade us, they kill us, and all over for city man for your house for do and for shooting. Nobody ever carry go for court because you will come out. They don't Ambazonia government don't carry Cameroon government go for all kind of court for the world. Barrister Fru, they know him very well. Me, I don't know him. They know him very well. They don't comply. Yeah, Cameroon government don't go for all kind of court, they don't comply. So nothing go do it, they will comply again. Them na hyena and na vulture. Vulture na scavenger. For do scavenger na for shooter. No na for go to say when I do so, I didn't do so, I didn't do so. They want to hold this struggle back. Now we the Ambazonia will hold this struggle back. Because why? Sometimes somebody go do something, they'll say, brother, I beg, forgive me. That's why they keep where people they for push for long. For Ambazonia State Army, they get instruction, shoot to kill. We not get time for keep nobody, we not get jail for feed you. Once they catch you, pity no day. There's no, as the fighter of Grand will tell us, say, there's no place for the wicked. Might put on that way. There's no place for the wicked. Now so we go. As President Sako say more do self-defense, he say more do self-defense for ground, he no give particular date. He say 24/7. The ground must be protected, the civilian must be protected, their property must be protected, and that's all we do. If you keep CPDM box, we go burn a house. If we can't find thing, we find CPDM thing for inside a place, we go burn them. You go report all CPDM activities for your local government area. You go report, you get 24 hours for report all CPDM activities for your local government area. And any election, not only CPDM, SDF, any political party activity for your local government area, you go report them. We catch you any political party uniform, where you be teller, where you store political uniform, we go burn that store. If you be teller, you store CPDM clothes, you sell CPDM card or any political activity card, we go burn them. That time on password to play Munyenge or the Dion left and right. Now because of pity, it don't make we Ambazonia them. We don't go we take this war, we drag them. Now because of pity, we over show kindness. For war, no be kindness. For war, now for shoot to kill. Now for carry plane buyer. Over to you.
That was an amazing contribution there, fellow Ambazonians. They will talk to us. Commander Willy says we will talk to them. It was so amazing. It was an amazing. It is so amazing, gentlemen. It's been a great evening. They will talk to us, and we will talk to them. Yeah, and we have the framework to make that happen in no time. Fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who are watching us right now, this is the platform for us to be in. Last week we raised some money for Bowie, and we're calling on you this week to make the efforts to ensure that Ambazonia is fully funded. Ambazonia is fully funded in every dimension. There is a new program from the Secretary of State from Homeland, Secretary Steve. I want to read the adjustments that are made from his office. Please just bear with me so I could get that up for us for our collective participation. As you know, the government is making tremendous progress. So this communique was shared by Secretary Steve a few days ago, and the program kindly has changed. It says, dear APP stakeholders, this is from the APP stakeholders. It says, dear APP stakeholders, due to the focus on the ongoing federal draft, the Ambazonia, the Amba Peace Plan meeting that was to hold on Friday the 21st, that was yesterday, of March 2025, has been postponed to the Friday the 16th of May 2025, 8 p.m. Amba time. So the government is having a strategy. It's in consultation. It says that is after the third phase of the federal draft, the federal government draft, just before the launch of the county drafts. Be reminded that the second phase of the federal draft, of the federal government draft to be precise, is scheduled for Saturday the 5th of April. That's approximately in the next 2 weeks of April. Not Saturday the 6th. So the prior notification that you had, that was the 6th, was a mistake. And this time the Midland Zone will be hosting the federal government. And you know, you're just talking to one of the actors of the Midland, Commander Willy, and County Chair of Manu. Midland has powers like Meza Momo. We are hoping that before the Midland draft, there will be some form of dialogue with the leadership of these counties and the federal government, because the Ambazonian people are having a very close watch on everything that's happening. It is concerning to the people of Ambazonia that the government plan did not measure some other things, and I think there are conversations. I'm not going to say that on air. We are hoping that there will be some conversations before then, and if there's any update to this plan of this program, we will be very proactive to communicate that with the public. So it's been a great evening with you, Ambazonians, and I'm calling on all those who are patrons, who are Edley Club members. I understand that Ambazonians in Europe are also organizing themselves to have a patrons branch in Europe. That's a laudable effort. That's worth acclamation. So we will be having a meeting with them. I need to give an input of the timing, because this particular program that we have every Saturday is important. Ambazonians are looking up to it, because we come and review the week in a way that's not done anywhere in the Cameroons, and it's not a program that we want to give up away for anything. So ABC should not be the one coming against this appointment that Ambazonians are looking up to every Saturday. So we're going to negotiate with these stakeholders in Europe to see to allocate an affordable or a time that can be accommodated with everyone involved that Saturday, so we can collectively have a very firm discussion with this leader. So I'm calling on all of you to give your donations to ABC. If you have not, the subscription platform is working seamlessly and much better than it was 2 months ago. If you are facing any issues with it, please contact us and we'll help you. Make sure you give your monthly donation. For those who have not yet received their tax letters, do not hesitate to call us. For those whom you have received and you're not sure of, and the figures are not in alignment with what you would have given, all you may need to do is to provide to us your receipts, and we will reconcile them. We're getting very positive feedback already from those who have received their tax letters, and they are very appreciative. We cannot be appreciative enough for all the endeavors that you would have done or the contributions that you made for ABC in 2024. We have bigger projects this year. We've crossed a lot of milestones, and we need your donations now even more than ever. We are grateful to those who have taken the initiative to double their contributions to our endeavor. After programs like this, you can only understand that you're doing the right investment during a time of war. Until next Saturday, it's been Tarh Paddy King. See you. Have a beautiful night.
Thanks. I sleep in here, man. I don't sleep. I did them. Can't see something. I see all. Are they done? I don't see. I'm happy too. Yes. I should be saying the boy don't carry forget him. No, see what he's saying.
Unachakara the control. Unachakara. Fako life. Fako life. Abokos. Abokos. Fall back. Unachakara the control. Unachakara. Fako life.
Today are the 14th of March 2025. This one a Major General Tokandu from Bui, Ambazonia State Army. We then alive for Mbiame. Now the small harvest this who don't bring them for Mbiame. We have see the big gun with the two magazine then.
Asawala, wana, Asawala, wana, Asabuam, Guam, Asabuam, Guam, Esimini, where the day will them collect their weapon. One spirit, one love, one spirit, one love, one spirit, one love, Sheshede.
Moi, l'engagement du top, Madame 10. Somani cry boy, una come somani for the cry. For inside.
Stand with Ambazonia. Empower ABC Amba TV. We are calling on Ambazonians around the world to unite and uplift ABC Amba TV, Ambazonian Broadcasting Corporation. In this critical time of war, ensuring the station's survival is more important than ever. But what does ABC Amba TV truly represent for Ambazonia?
At the heart of Ambazonia's war of independence, ABC Amba TV stands as a beacon. Years of recolonization, annexation, and French Cameroon's oppressive occupation of the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia have led to our exclusion. Our identity was hidden, our history distorted, our sovereignty denied. Queen of England is aware that the British Southern Cameroons were never a colony under France.
Since its inception in 2018, ABC Amba TV has been our lifeline.
Months of diplomacy have failed to resolve the crisis as fear grows over an imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Our work in the dark is our chance to tell our stories to the world, to give voice to the voiceless and broadcast the truth of our struggle.
We are serious about executing this revolution.
It has become a vital arm of our government in wartime, making diplomacy achievable, and showcasing our untold stories.
ABC Amba, you guys know how important ABC is for this, our quest for international recognition.
Your donations can make a world of difference. Every bit of support helps keep our stories alive, our presence known, and our fight in the global conversation.
The moment they notice that we are no longer on air, they think that, oh, maybe La Republic have succeeded. This is about Ambazonia. One thing we must always remember.
Where would we be without ABC Amba TV? Let's ensure we never have to find out.
A revolution is a temporary state of insanity to bring about sanity.
Mobilize, donate, stand with Ambazonia. Donate to ABC Amba TV.
Together, let's write the next chapter of our history.
It is better to light the candle than to curse the dark.
Support ABC Amba TV campaign. Ambazonia Independence, voice for the voiceless. Mobilize for change.
And the government is trying to crack through the White House.